We welcome you back to El Paso, Texas, and the Sun Bowl. Adam Young, Danny Neese, so glad you have joined us here today for some spring football. How about that? Spring football on a Sunday in February from the Sun City. High 70s today on the campus of the UTEP Miners as the Aggies take the field of their big rivals, and they play Tarleton State and FCS Independent. Keys to the game are presented by Rudy's Barbecue. What do you have, Danny?
Well, here's what I see playing out in this spring game. Create big plays. Coach talked about early on with some of the interviews he had. It's like, we got to get back to this big play. We got to create big plays. And so I see that as what big key to it is who is going to be the big play guy? Who is going to step up and be that guy? They need to find that guy who's a threat. That's the number one. 2, low turnovers. You got a whole bunch of new guys, and we haven't played it, like we said on our open, in a long time. Turnovers, always a problem, but now it's been twice as long since they played. Got to keep that turnover rate really low. And the last one is pressure defense. That 2017 team that made the bowl run was a pressure defense. They want to get back there. Whole bunch of new faces on that defense. But today they're going to bring the pressure defense. Got to let those horses run and see where it takes us.
A whole lot of new faces on both sides of the ball this year, Danny. Jason Huntley, of course, graduated. He's now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Christian Gibson graduated. Tony Nicholson, O.J. Clark, Brian Trujillo, Roy Lopez grad transferred. We could go up and down the list. We're going to see a lot of newcomers today, and we're going to call out some names that Aggie fans probably haven't heard of, but that could be a good thing as well, right?
I think so. I think it'll be exciting because it's a lot of new blood, a lot of new things happening, and so we're going to see how it all kind of comes together, but it's going to be exciting.
Tarleton State, meanwhile, this is game 2 for them. They played last week against McNeese State. It was a 2-overtime loss, 40-37. Danny, we both watched that game. They were impressive last week.
Oh, they were very impressive. They're a very tough team. As I talked to some of the coaches leading up to this game, I said, this Tarleton team's going to come out here and they're going to punch you in the face. They're going to want to play football. And I know we want to, prep for fall. But Tarleton, they're coming out and they're going to play hard at them. It's going to be a hard-fought game without a doubt.
Tarleton State will be without 5 offensive starters today due to COVID protocols and contact tracing, including their starting quarterback, grad transfer Stephen Duncan. So we will certainly talk about that as we go along today. That is going to be huge during the course of this game here today. Kalen Horton is back deep for the Texans, and Ethan Albertson, one of those newcomers, will kick off for the Aggies. Albertson, a redshirt sophomore from Grossmont College, takes over for Dylan Brown this year, and we are underway. Spring football in El Paso. How about that? And it'll be a touchback, and it's going to be first down and 10 at the 25 for the Texans, and they will have a different quarterback today, Danny. This is a huge story in this game. We were told about an hour before kick, Tarleton State is missing 5 offensive starters, including their starting quarterback, because of COVID protocols and contact tracing, which is something you have to deal with this year.
Yeah, it's just there, and you got to just deal with it. And as we were talking to the sports information guy, I said, what does Coach think? He thinks next guy up, let's go.
And the next guy up is Cameron Burston. He will start in place of Stephen Duncan, the grad transfer from Western Kentucky. 37 points a week ago for Tarleton. They were really good offensively in a lot of spots, including at running back with Braylon Bridges, and a flag flies to start as Braylon Bridges gets the carry. Bridges, a freshman from Houston Klein Collins High School. He picks up 6 and will check the flag.
Braylon had a breakout game last week, and you watch him, it doesn't look like he has just this explosive.
Number 17, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's it. That's those jitters, right? So those jitters come, first play, it's like, here we go, I'm going to get a jump on it right now, and got it just a little too early start to it. But Braylon, he's a good running back, and we're going to maybe see a lot of him today.
5-yard penalty, replay first down. First down, 5 yards to go for the Texans. Burston will keep it. He runs near side of the field, past the 50. He's into Aggie territory. He's going to run down the near sideline. It's a long scamper for Cameron Burston of 70 yards on the touchdown run.
Yeah, tough start for the Aggies right there. Lose containment, right? So you get across, get out on the outside of the NC. On the corner here, we come flying up to stop the run. He pulls the ball, takes it around the corner, and once he's got the lane, he's off to the races. So don't tell Cameron that the quarterback that started last week isn't going to be here to play. He was like, I'm ready. Give me the ball. Let me go. He got the corner, turned on the Jets. They got on the board early.
70-yard touchdown run for Cameron Burston, the senior from Vallejo, California. Point after from Christian Hernandez. And it is good. So how about that start for Tarleton State? 24 seconds in. Remember, this is game number 2 for the Texans. The Aggies playing their first game in 449 days. Their most recent game was all the way back on November 30th, 2019. It has been 1 year, 2 months, and 22 days since the Aggies last played, and you would have to think there's going to be some rust to knock off.
Yeah, there's a lot of rust, and we talked about in the open all of the new players that are out there, and you can see from the replay right there how everyone just sucked in right there on that dive. So he rode that dive all the way into the hole, pulled it off at the last second, and once he pulled it out, everyone was already sucked in. He took the corner, and once he got the corner, he was gone. And I know the Aggies are trying to shut down these big plays. They don't want big plays on defense to break him anymore. That's not the start that the coaches are looking for on this big, stopping the big play defense.
The only full-time starter that is back for the Aggies is Devin Richardson, who in 2019 was a freshman All-American. Everybody else is either a returning non-starter or a newcomer. A lot of JUCO transfers. That's the route the Aggies had to take. The secondary is the position right now that is the most inexperienced. Jawan Price is back deep for the Aggies. So is Robert Downs III, and we're going to see the Aggie offense here in moments. 5 offensive starters out for Tarleton State, yet they get off to a 7-0 lead to start the game.
Adam, it wasn't really even a big play. It was just a simple, let's see what the Aggies have on defense, and it's just a little option play in there that really broke it.
Christian Hernandez will send it away. Kicks into the wind, and this will be returnable for Jawan Price, the redshirt freshman. And he returns it past the 20 up to the 24-yard line, and that's where the Aggie offense will start. And Doug Martin has been praising his quarterback, Jonah Johnson, who had a really good offseason, the transfer from Fresno City College.
Yeah, it's exciting to see him. We're going to see the big arm. We've got 2 quarterbacks, but Jonah's getting to start today, both big arms. He can get the ball down the field. They're looking to create some big plays, but I think it's going to start with let's just get our offense going, and then the big plays will come.
Johnson came in from Fresno City College. He is from Madera, California. He's been in the program now for a while because of not playing in the fall, but a lot of time to learn the playbook, that's for sure. 4 wide receivers set for the Aggies. They run it with Jawan Price on the first down run. He gets 3 yards. We may or we may not see Omari Samuels today. There was some question marks about him, Danny, going into this game.
Yeah, a little dinged up, and I don't think Coach wants to necessarily get anyone hurt early on, so may not see him.
Here's Jawan Price, finds a hole. Price is up to the 32-yard line, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and short after the 5-yard pickup. 3rd down and 2 for the Aggies.
Hey, Price, he's a strong runner too, so Samuels is going to do good, but here's a quick scamping back, finds a hole around the side there and gets some extra yards.
Empty backfield. The line to gain is the 34. Texans defense allowed 40 points last week to McNeese State in their opener. And Johnson, who can run, he's playing at 245 pounds. He's trying to rumble for the first down. Extra effort. Good enough for the first down for the 245-pound big quarterback from California.
Yeah, I remember one of the practices you went to, I wasn't able to get there. I called you and said, well, can Jonah run? And you said, he's deceiving for his size, and he can get up there and make it happen. He is a big guy, and the thing I like, Adam, as you can see right here, not only can he run, but he knows where the first down marker is, and he gets after it, just like you said, deceiving runner.
Doug Martin has compared him to David Garrard, somebody who Doug coached at East Carolina, and then had a really good NFL career with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is Eli Anderson on the carry. He's one of the returners out of the backfield, a redshirt junior.
You know, Tarleton has this very aggressive defense. They're going to come get you, and so that's what the Ags are going to see all night or all day here is this aggressive defense.
Running back is Anderson. Johnson back to throw. His first throw as an Aggie intended for Terrell Warner. It is incomplete. Good coverage there for strong safety Josh Kemp, a sophomore from Gainesville, Texas.
Yeah, first throw, he sits back in the pocket. He does got a strong arm, and he just let that thing rip there. It's just a little timing that was just off a little bit there. But, yeah, his arm strength certainly is there.
And he's a big guy, 6'3", 245, playing at 245 pounds right now. Had 2 good years at Fresno City College. 3rd down and 10 for Jonah Johnson and the Aggie offense. Johnson will pitch, handled by Juwan Price, who's going to wear number 9 today, by the way. Usually he wears 32. A few number changes for the Aggies here in this spring football game. And the Aggies will have to punt on their first offensive possession. The spring is about getting ready for the fall. Doug Martin has said that a lot, Danny. These are going to be 2 games the Aggies play in the spring, which is completely unusual. They get a lot more practice time. They've already had 20-plus practices in the spring, and they're trying to get ready for that 2021 fall campaign.
Yeah, and I think Coach said he's going to play a lot of guys, and I think that's part of it. You just got to find the right mix of who's where and where does the rhythm come in. And so to do that, you have to play a lot of guys to figure that out.
Josh Carlson with the boot. He's the new Aggie punter, transfer from Dixie State, where he was a Division II All-American. And the Aggies with good coverage on the short return for cornerback Kalen Horton. A 46-yard punt for Carlson. 7-0 Tarleton in El Paso. We're back with you here at the Sun Bowl in El Paso. A 70-yard touchdown run by quarterback Cameron Burston gives Tarleton State a 7-0 lead. 11:43 left here in quarter 1 from El Paso. Burston, normally the backup quarterback, but starting quarterback Stephen Duncan is one of 5 offensive starters out due to COVID protocols. Burston will throw. It is caught by Gabe Douglas, and he runs down the far sideline, and Douglas will run into the end zone. Touchdown. Another quick offensive touchdown for Tarleton.
Number 10.
You know, Burston pumps once, gets the Aggie DB to bite, and once he's bitten, there's no one behind him that can catch him. He dumped that ball in there just right behind him, and it's off to the races. You can see it right here. Quick look. It's a small fake that he put. The Aggie defender right there jumps it. He jumps the route. That's Williams, cornerback. He gets behind him, and once that guy gets behind you, he's leaving, and that's a quick, another big explosive play. It's not quite what the Aggie's looking for in that secondary right there.
Gabe Douglas, the junior from Shreveport, Louisiana, transfer from Kilgore College, was a top 20 JUCO wide receiver in Texas. He had 2 catches last week for 25 yards. This one goes for 86 yards and a score. Cameron Burston is not looking like the backup, Danny.
Not at all. He handled that in there. He had lots of patience in there, you know, and he just dropped that ball in there perfectly. You know, Tarleton is ready to go. I know Coach wants to plan for fall, but Tarleton is ready to put some points on the board, as we can see.
Point after is good for Christian Hernandez. And we'll get a second look at the catch and run for Gabe Douglas. And as you said, Danny, he beat Damani Williams and also Chris Bell.
Yeah, he gets behind Williams. Bell's got to come over top there to give him support on that backside, and he's got to take a better angle. So if he takes a flat angle as he did, you can get right past him and there's no catching him. And Bell should have went more of an angle that's a little deeper just to stop that big play. Now, these are just learning things, right? So I'm sure Coach is coaching him up and letting him know, but those are things you have to start working on right now.
They're certainly learning things, Danny, and this is spring football. It's 2 games that technically don't really count towards your record But you also want to win the football game, and right now the Aggies have dug themselves in a big hole in the first 3 minutes plus.
Yeah, I agree, Adam. I think when coaches talk about, let's fall, we're going to try to, play some players, see what's going on here. You still want to perform well as a player and as a coach. And when you see these big mistakes happening, you just got to jump on them right now and say, look, this has got to, you just got to not look bad in this performance, and you still want to win.
Christian Hernandez will kick off into the wind. That Tarleton offense, and they have a lot of returners back. They were second in the country at Division II in total offense a year ago, also fourth in the country in points per game. They averaged 45 points per game a year ago. The ball gets hung up in the wind. Robert Downs the third with the return. Robert Downs the third into Tarleton territory. Robert Downs the third with the return touchdown.
Touchdown, Aggie.
There's nothing like getting the excitement, getting the blood flowing, getting your team back in it with a good big return, and that's exactly what happened there. He gets the corner, and he's off to the races.
Check that, Danny. That was Juwan Price. It was number 9, not number 4. Hard to tell in these black jerseys. Price and Downs were both deep. And this was Juwan Price with the return touchdown for the Aggies.
You can see his speed right there. We talked about how quick he is. He's a fast back. He gets the ball. He starts upfield. And the reason you start immediately upfield is that everyone converges towards the middle. And then once that happens, as you take your speed and you break it to the outside, and we're able to see his speed there, that's a nice run.
On to attempt the PAT, number 84, Ethan Albertson.
Ethan Albertson will come on for the point after. That's my apologies. It is hard to see those jersey numbers. Number 9 and number 4 both back deep for the Aggies.
Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. We'll run to the try.
Well, Adam, I'm sure Robert Downs didn't mind you calling his name either. So hopefully we'll see him on some routes today as well. But Robert Downs also has some speed, so easily could have been either.
Point after for Ethan Albertson is good. 14-7. Return touchdown. Juwan Price, 94 yards. We're back with you here in El Paso, the Sun City. It's NM State and Tarleton State. Some folks are trying to get a peek at the game here today. No fans are allowed, and sometimes you just try to find any way possible to watch this game here today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great shot right there. What a perfect spot to catch some sun on the rock and just enjoy the game.
Support Aggie student athletes by joining the Aggie Athletic Club. The Aggie Athletic Club prepares student athletes for life during and after their careers at NM State. Visit AggieAthleticClub.com. No fans allowed today in this big venue, 51,500 capacity at the Sun Bowl in El Paso on the campus of UTEP. Aggies unable to play home games at Aggie Memorial Stadium due to state restrictions in New Mexico. Some explosion plays on both sides here to start this game today. Kicking into the wind, and this one is through the end zone. Back deep was Kaylin Horton for Tarleton State. How does the Aggie defense respond now, Danny?
Well, I think you really, it's hard to have anything to go off when they've only run 3 plays. I mean, 4 maybe. So I think you have to just go back to the basics and start there and say, look, what are our keys? What are we looking for? Making sure you do the basics in order to find a rhythm to figure out, okay, now how do we make the adjustments? Making adjustments now doesn't make sense because it's just 3 plays, but you do got to figure out to get people to back to the basics to see what's going on.
Once again, Cameron Burston is starting at quarterback in place of Stephen Duncan. One of 5 offensive starters out due to COVID protocols. Also 2 offensive linemen out. Wide receiver Tariq Bitson is out. As well as running back Khalil Banks, a 7-yard run for freshman running back Braylon Bridges, who is down on the play.
Yeah, there was a big hole that was created right in the middle there, and Braylon just kind of was patient, and you can see the big hole as it's opening up there. He was patient, let the hole form, and then just poured it right into the hole, and then just came down here, didn't see what happened, but.
Braylon Bridges had a really good opener last week against McNeese State. 15 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, a team-high 2 touchdowns in that game. Also a team-high in carries and in yards, and we'll step aside with Bridges down on the field in El Paso. Today's game is presented by Coors Light. Celebrate Aggie Game Day with an ice-cold Coors Light, available at local retailers. Coors Light, an official beer of Aggie fans. So Braylon Bridges goes down with an injury. We hope he is okay. And now Raheem Skinner will come in at running back for Tarleton, senior from Clinton, South Carolina.
Second down for the Texans.
Texans have only thrown it once. It was an explosive play on a catch and run for Gabe Douglas for an 86-yard touchdown catch. They fake the handoff to Skinner. They toss it far side looking for Douglas again. It wasn't well thrown. If it was, Danny, Douglas had him beat.
He got him. He got behind him again, didn't he, Adam? And it was just coverage where he had lots of cushion in there. He just gave up the cushion. So you got to start back in your back pedal and then just turn and run. And then he just didn't open up and turn and run. Couldn't find the ball. But, yeah, if that would have been a good throwing ball, that could have been another TD.
3rd down and 4 for Tarleton. Burst in under pressure, and there's a sack. That's Trevor Brohard coming from his linebacker position.
You know, Coach Sukup, the linebacker coach, is very big on Trevor, and he was saying Trevor has just gotten better and better. Last year, a little banged up, but let's see if we can't see him come in through the side there. You can see that little hole that he blitzed right in there. He's a big, strong guy from Los Lunas, showed his strength, showed his speed. Trevor, nice sack right there.
And he's finally healthy, Danny. He's been battling that knee injury the last couple of years, and it's good to see him healthy because when he's healthy, he can be active.
You know, pressure defense, that's where they want to get back to is pressure defense, and that's the way to do it right there. So secondary, if you can't stay with them on the secondary, then you need to go get the quarterback and not give him so much time to work that secondary.
Flag on the field.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Our referee today is Christian Watson. There's Trevor Brohard. How about those locks?
Number 83, Jake Wallen.
He's got the flow working for sure, as my younger son would say. He's got a great flow right there.
Jake Walrath will punt it away to Robert Downs III, who's standing near midfield. And it trickles out of bounds at the 50.
It goes out of bounds.
32-yard short punt for Walrath.
Flag on the play.
Here's a look at Trevor Brohard from Los Lunas, New Mexico, Danny. He's an in-state guy, and Oliver Sukup, who you spoke to this week, really likes his potential.
Oh, he does. He thinks he's really come alive. You know, in 2019, it was a little banged up. They were expecting big things from him. Healthy, as you said, and so now we can't see if we can't get more of those locks flowing.
Number 11, 10-yard penalty forced, and then the kick. First down.
In that sequence, that series, Danny, has to be a big confidence boost for the Aggie defense after a slow start.
Yeah, it was like, yikes, what do we do on that defense when that happens and you get 2 big scores right away? A stop, get everyone to take a deep breath and say, let's get back to the basics. Where are we? It sure helps to have Trevor in there to put the pressure on, though, for sure.
Jonah Johnson back out there to lead the Aggie offense. Doug Martin has said he's probably going to give his 2 quarterbacks a chance to play the entire game, both spring games. Jonah Johnson gets this one. He fires downfield out of the reach of Downs, who was open near the 40.
He was open. He was open. You can see the arm strength there. It looks like there wasn't hardly any effort in getting that ball downfield there, right? Two guys in the pattern. So there are two guys running down the left side. You can see one going deep and then one kind of intermediate right there. He's wide open, but it just got a little too much underneath it.
2nd down and 10 for the Aggies. From the 40-yard line. Downs in motion. Johnson with time. Rolls right. Throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Andre Bodison, who was out there in double coverage.
You know, when you get the pressure on Jonah, I think the receivers who are they're still all coming together, right? But when this happens, you have to break to the open and find an area to get the quarterback to get you right there to have something happen. In that case, Bodison didn't move forward. He should have been coming back to Jonah. But these are timing things. These are things that are going to come, and they're going to be coming together as the spring season comes along.
That is Zach Hopkins, who is getting tended to right now for Tarleton. A redshirt junior from Cuero, Texas, transfer from Blinn JUCO. A lot of Blinn junior college transfers for head coach Todd Whitney and the Tarleton Texans. And Hopkins will head off with just a little bit of help. Sports Accessories has the best Aggie gear in town at the best price. Check out their showroom in Las Cruces or visit the online store at theaggieshop.com. 3rd down and 10 for Jonah Johnson and the Aggies. An empty backfield, 5 out wide here on 3rd down. Johnson looking left, throws it across the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended target was Terrell Warner.
For number 7.
You know, so you have to start looking at, well, what are the positive things that are happening from some of those. It would have been nice to have a first down, but here's the positive from this. Look at the time that he has in the pocket. They had a delay blitz come. The offensive line picked it up. You know, and that's a young offensive line outside of Sage Docksetter. That's a young group still coming together, so they were able to pick up the blitz and give him time to get the pass off. So that's good stuff. That'll be something to build on.
Doug Martin does feel like the offensive line can be one of the bright spots of the team this year with Dockstetter, as you mentioned, as a veteran, and some youngsters and newcomers mixed in. The Aggies are missing Eli Johnson, who is a grad transfer from Ole Miss, but is not able to play in this game because he is a mid-year addition, which per NCAA rules, you cannot play in a spring game. So Johnson will play in the fall, and he's going to be huge. He's a grad transfer from Ole Miss, Danny, who will really stabilize this offensive line at center.
And you need a good center too, right? So the center is the captain there on the line, and he's going to tell everyone, well, here's the mic, here's what's happening, here's what's going on. And having a grad transfer, someone that's been there, that understands the system. I understand he's a very steady guy. He's always looking at films, trying to get better and smarter. It's going to be a great help when he gets here in the fall.
Ball is on the 13 after the 46-yard punt from Carlson, who's off to a good start to his Aggie career. Cameron Burston, the senior from Vallejo, California, the signal caller today, fakes the handoff to Skinner, and he throws out of the reach of J.F. Thomas, the big wide receiver target, but there is a flag thrown in the secondary.
Yeah, Thomas is a big 6'5" guy. We saw him catch some balls in the first game against McNeese State. Didn't get as much in the second half. May have been dinged up just a bit.
Defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
Pass interference is called on Antonio Oliver, junior from Atlanta, Georgia, transfer from Mississippi Delta Community College. That Aggie secondary is very inexperienced, especially at this Division I FBS level. They swing it to the outside. Catch is made by Dre Roberson, who was active last week against McNeese State, had a team-high 11 catches. He only gets 1 yard in the catch and run.
Yeah, so the whole objective of these quick passes is get someone in the open with the ball and have them make plays. You know, I mentioned that Tarleton has an aggressive defense, but that's an aggressive Aggie defense right there to close very fast on that and shut that down.
Burston will throw again. This one is caught by Darius Cooper. His first collegiate catch, freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, Hazelwood West High School. 10-yard connection, that will move the chains for Tarleton.
1st and 10 for the Texans.
1st and 10 for the Texans from the 39-yard line. Lofted down the far sideline looking for Cooper. Burston has shown off pretty good arms so far, Danny.
He has. And, you know, I think they're trying to pick on someone there. They see a little weakness, and then coach is going to, of course, try to exploit that. But, yeah, that arm strength is certainly there. And if you're going to miss that like he did, he missed it wide and to the outside, so there's no chance of interception on that. Great defense, though, by the Aggie secondary in that play.
Handoff to Skinner. And the tackle is made by Caleb Mills out of the Aggie secondary. You might recognize that name at wide receiver. He's transitioning to the secondary this year, Danny. He's about 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, so I was asking early on, is like, well, I wonder if he's going to be able to get a hold of this defense and see if he can make something happen. There he is right there, closing in, making a big tackle. Nice on Caleb.
3rd down, 5 yards to go. Burston will look to his sideline for the call. Skinner motions to his left, 3 out wide. Line to gain is the 49 for the Texans of Tarleton, an FCS independent, and the pass is broken up. Good play there for Xavier Hinkle, transfer from Butler Community College with the pass breakup.
Great defense right there. So the secondary, they're going to, looks like going to pick on them all day today. In this case, a little scrambling play. You have to stay with your guy, and Hinkle certainly did that and had great defense, get his arm across there without pass interference and knocks it away. Great play.
A lot of these defensive backs are experienced at the JUCO level, like Hinkle. Hinkle's a 3-star recruit. A punt from Walrath. This one is a little bit better, but he's punting into the wind, and a fair catch is called for by Downs inside the 20. Do you feel like the Aggies are starting to get their feet wet, their feet under them now, Danny?
I think so in the secondary. I think Coach Spaziani's probably figuring out, okay, well, what do we got to do? When do I dial up the pressure? When do I bring it back? Part of that also is the secondary is not biting. They're playing their position, and they're not letting people get behind them as easy and staying with them in the secondary like Hinkle did. So, yeah, that I think they're getting there.
You had to expect some rust. They haven't played in 449 days. It's a long time without a football game. And Doug Martin did say this might feel more like a scrimmage because there are not fans allowed. And because of that, it doesn't feel like a normal game. Juwan Price trying to bounce to the edge, and he can't get there. Tackle is made by nickelback Trey Johnson.
Made by number 3, Trey Johnson.
Again, you're just trying to get something going offensively, right? So you got an offensive lineman got pushed back just a bit that made him bounce that to the outside. Nothing happened there on that aggressive defense. I'd like to see Jonah getting some passing in there.
It was a loss of 7 on the play, 2nd down and 17. After the 7-yard loss by Price. Pistol look for the Aggies, low snap, toss to Price. He bobbles it, he lost it, and it is still loose, and Price jumps on it in the end zone. And that is a safety. He mishandled that one twice and just could not fully grab it, and when he finally did, it turns into a safety.
Yeah, this is a backwards pitch, which is a live ball, so you can see the snap was low, so Jonah had to go down there and get the ball and then just push it out to him, and he just couldn't find a handle on it and recovered it in the end zone. Unfortunately, that's a safety.
So that was not a good offensive possession for the Aggies. A 7-yard loss on the first run, and then a mishandled pitch that turns into a safety. 16-7 Texans here in this spring football game as the Aggies play their first game in 449 days. November 30th, 2019 until now. That's a long time without a football game. 2 recruiting cycles is what the Aggies went through, and they're already at 20-plus spring practices. They, of course, can practice now in New Mexico, but cannot play games in the state of New Mexico, hence why we're here in the Sun City today. Nobody really knew what to expect. I mean, you go 449 days, Danny, you have no idea what's going to happen and how long it's going to take to mesh.
Yep.
Yeah, and timing, that's huge.
Timing, and that's what that play was right there. It's timing.
Here's the punt on the free kick after the safety. Braylon Bridges is back in the game. We thought maybe earlier he would not return. Check that. That's Horton. Kalen Horton, excuse me.
Tackle made by number 1, Devlin Kirkland.
26-yard return for Horton. And that's where the Texans of Tarleton State will set up shop about midway through this opening quarter from the Sun City here in El Paso.
You know, Tarleton last week, they played McNeese down in Stephenville, and it was bitterly cold. So here they are in the Sun Bowl, sun's shining. I'm sure they're thinking, hey, this is the way to play football.
Yeah, it was freezing in the game last week in Stephenville. It's a little chilly today, but certainly not as bad as it was last week for Tarleton. They're going to play an 8-game schedule this year. Burston tosses to Douglas, who's been used a lot, targeted a lot so far for the Texans. In fact, he has both of their catches.
You know, they dialed up, coach dialed up a little pressure, try to bring some pressure on it, make him get the ball out fast. We're playing off a little bit in a zone, and he just dumped that ball in there. It's like, okay, if you're going to play off 10, then I'll take what I can.
Running back is Skinner. They give it to him. The Aggies sniff it out. First man to meet him was Taylor Milton, redshirt freshman from Zachary, Louisiana. 3-yard pickup for Skinner. It's going to bring up first down and 10 for the Texans. Skinner again. And he's dragged down from behind by Michael Bowe Jr. as he gets 5 yards. 3 backs are what the Texans will typically use in a normal game, but right now Braylon Bridges appears to be injured, and Khalil Banks is out because of COVID protocols, so Skinner is going to have to really carry the load today.
Yeah, and you get to see the offensive line create these holes, and I think this is where Coach Mumford, our defensive line coach, really has to get our guys keyed up to sit down in those holes and not get pushed out of there, creating those big gaps.
Pass goes to Roberson, who is yanked out of bounds by Caleb Mills, just shy of the first down marker.
Caleb Mills seems like he's coming around to it. You know, I wasn't sure how he was going to handle it, but he came screaming up in a hurry on that. Broke down. That's what he'd like to see, right? So you get up there, you break down before pushing him out of bounds.
Three officials discussing something right now near the far sideline for the Texans. I'm not sure what, though, Danny. We'll see from our referee today.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, defense, number 12, 15-yard penalty, and automatic, first down.
Yeah, it did seem like there were some extracurriculars after the play there from Caleb Mills.
Yeah,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, me too. And so he certainly broke down, and then right there at the end there, he's out of bounds and gives a little extra kind of pull around the neck, and I think that's what caused the flag right there.
So that takes the football all the way down to the 16-yard line. First down and 10 for Tarleton State, trying to add on to their 16-7 lead. They go to Skinner. Skinner trying to push the pile at the 15.
Number 22.
And he's taken down right there. He only picks up 2 yards on the run.
In that case, not much happening this time. So defense line holding the ground, sitting in their gaps. I mean, there's not a lot happening. Come up and just try to push and hold on and try to leave him, not give him a TD at least, and make him kick field goal or something.
For the Texans.
Skinner, a big running back, 5'8", 220 pounds, a senior from Clinton, South Carolina. Ball is at the 15 here on second down. Skinner bounces off one of his linemen And he's taken down for a loss of 1 yard on the play.
On the carry.
So it will be third down and a short 10. Third down and 10 for the Texans.
Well, keeping outside containment and not letting anyone to your outside is really what happened right there. And so that's what created that play and pushed it back to the inside.
And a flag flies, and the Aggies are saying that's on the offensive line for the Texans.
Offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's our left guard, Kendall Dirth, junior from Texas, who made 10 starts in 2019. He was second-team all-conference at the D2 level for Tarleton. That'll make it third down and 15. Texans need the 6-yard line. Heavy pressure comes. Burston can run it. How about that cutback? Near the first down marker, finding the edge, and he will walk it in. Extra effort from Cameron Burston, his second running touchdown today.
Number 10, Cameron Burston.
You know, the hardest thing on these jailbreaks is trying to find the guy, and then once you find him, you have to break down so you don't over pursue, and you'll see an over pursue twice there and one more, and that just causes you just get lopsided and breaks it wide open, and he just walked that one in.
On third down and 15, Cameron Burston records his second rushing touchdown today.
18 is good.
So you can see it right here, where you can see a couple over pursues right there. That's what I was just talking about, where you get out of position, and then once you get out of position, you give the angle to the offensive guy, and he just can't recover. And Burston did a great job of keeping that play alive, right? Just that's all him right there. Nothing downfield. Everyone was covered. Broken play, and he causes it to everyone to over pursue, and he walks it in for a TD.
21-yard touchdown run for Burston makes it 23-7 Texans in this high-scoring first quarter from El Paso, Texas, and the Sun Bowl.
Number 9, Jawan Price. Number 4, Robert Downs.
Well, Adam, we weren't sure what we were going to see defensively for the Ags, right? Since they've had so much a turnover in the roster, but certainly there's a lot of areas to work out.
Taking to the Texans, number 48, Adrian Guzman.
Cameron Burston not playing like a backup, and he is taking full advantage of this opportunity today to start this game against an FBS school. First ever game for the Texans against an FBS school. And Robert Downs III will call for a fair catch on the kickoff.
25.
So now let's see if the Aggies can get something going offensively. I don't think they've got any rhythm here so far. Not many completed, if any, completed passes, so it'd be nice to get that kind of coordination worked out.
Downs III in motion. They swing it out to him. Looking for a block on the outside from Jared Wyatt.
Number 4, Robert Downs.
Quality play on first down on the catch and run for Downs for a gain of 4.
I like it. So if you want to get a little confidence back in the offense, you give him a quick, easy pass to make, which a little swing pass to the outside there, and quick toss, easy, get some positive yards. Now we get a little confidence going.
Robert Downs III, one of 2 starters back for the Aggies. The other one is Sage Dockstader, the Aggie left tackle. Here is Jawan Price, who had a kick return touchdown earlier.
Number 9,
channeling his inner Jason Huntley. He gets 5 yards, and it's going to be third down and 1.
It's now made by number 15, Eric Willis.
Good to see Jason Huntley in the NFL, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely great to get some time too, right? So a little play, little zone read to the right outside there, and just get some positive yards on a nice little hole. Leaves us third and short.
Pistol back is Price, 4 wide receivers. Texans show pressure. They will rush 4. The pitch, and it's sniffed out. Devin Hafford.
Jawan Price on the carry.
He wasn't fooled one bit at all, right? He just saw that coming the whole time. There was a little option down the line here, and he just came screaming off the edge. No block. They missed him on the block. Should have been blocking him on the outside. And once he saw that, he came in, knew his man was pitch man, and he takes his legs out.
Devin Hafford makes the play. Second team all-conference in 2018. He only played in one game in 2019 for Tarleton because of a season-ending injury. Playing in his 39th career game. Kalen Horton is back deep for the Texans. Josh Carlson has had 2 good punts so far. Punting into the wind, and he gets a really friendly bounce. Horton will take it now after it continued to bounce near the 20. And that's how you flip field position for Josh Carlson, who's making an early impact in his first game at the FBS level. 55-yard boot for the former Division II All-American.
Yeah, so it's nice to flip the field that way, right? So it's nice to get a little bounce in there. When you don't have a lot of things working for you, you want to try to have something work where you get a bounce. You get a big bounce that flips the field. You have nice coverage to turn the plate down right away, and so sets the defense up. Now they got to dig their heels in and see if they can't create a stop here and start turning the momentum a little bit. Tarleton feels like they got all the momentum, right? Everything's working for them. So you need a big 3 and out right here would be fabulous for the Ags.
23-7, Tarleton State. A good first quarter for quarterback Cameron Burston. D'Angelo Rosemond with the carry, freshman from San Antonio. Some other guys are going to have to play. He picks up 7 because of the injury for Bridges and Banks. Not able to play today. So it's Rosemond again, trying to help out Skinner, and he helps the Texans get a first down and a 5-yard pickup.
Carry once again. Number 3, Devin Richardson.
You know, we're right there. We're right ready to make a play, and we just let some of the guys just come right through our hands. We get in the backfield, we make the initial hit, and we just don't hold on.
Third straight carry for Rosemond. This one is a little shorter for only 2 yards. So now they're riding the back of the freshman, D'Angelo Rosemond from San Antonio East Central High School.
You know, Coach always said he wanted to improve his third down percentage, and part of that is you have to have a strong first and second. So let's see if they can't have a good second down stop here, which could help him improve third down.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Open receiver, but couldn't be quite hauled in by Darius Cooper, the freshman from St. Louis, who did make a catch earlier.
He looked like he was wide open too, didn't he? It looks like his little post route in there, and Williams was playing off him in the secondary and giving him a little room, maybe because he's got behind him a couple times, and he just missed that pass. Now it's third down. Let's see if they can't dig their heels in and get off the field.
Third down and 8. They will run it with Rosemond, and he is tripped up from behind. There's Devin Richardson, the former freshman All-American.
I'm sure glad Devin got to him because there was some open grass there that he was getting to. Devin bounces off the block and makes that tackle. Big tackle right there, creating this fourth down situation. Nice to see Devin get in the game here, get some tackles, get some things happening.
Loss of 2 yards for Rosemond, and that has 4 seconds left in the quarter. Now they're going to add 1 second on, so 5 seconds left here in the opening quarter. And it's been a good first quarter for the Tarleton Texans from Stephenville, Texas. They're in their first year at Division I after 2 really good years at Division II back-to-back. The Texans were 23-2 in their final 2 years at Division II in 2018 and 2019. Now they're an FCS independent. They will move to the WAC for football with the rest of their sports starting next year. And they figure to be a power. They were a Division II power for quite some time, and they have a really good head coach in Todd Whitten, who is in his 3rd stint with the Texans, 11th year overall.
Number 4, Robert Downs.
Jake Wohlrath will punt. Robert Downs is waiting near the 25-yard line. Here it comes from Walrath. Downs will let it bounce, and it bounces out of bounds inside the 30. The end of one quarter. Texans 23, Aggies 7. Return touchdown for Price, but the Aggies have some catching up to do in El Paso. Mid-50s, a little breezy today in El Paso. Adam Young, Danny Neeb with you. 23-7. Tarleton State with the lead at the end of one quarter. Thank you so much for joining us here today as we bring it to you from the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas.
What a great setting for a game, Adam. You know, I've just loved playing here, and now having a chance to call a game here, fantastic.
What's your favorite memory from playing here, Danny?
Yeah, I think it's when, you know, coming around the senior year, we were able to come down here and didn't come across with the win, but we're able to come down, just the excitement of everyone, having fans from Las Cruces over, just loved it.
Let's see if this Aggie offense can get on a roll. Jonah Johnson hit as he throws. It is nearly intercepted. Bryson Collins got his hands on it, the middle linebacker, but he couldn't quite haul it in. And Jonah Johnson was drilled right when he threw it.
Second down and 10 for the Aggies.
You know, I still think we're trying to find something downfield that could work a little bit to kind of loosen up this defense. When they got two deep safeties like they have, it makes it tough.
Flag is thrown. Johnson completes the pass. It was caught by a running back, Eli Anderson. We'll see what the flag is all about.
Flag in the play.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's our freshman Carson Ferris, who Doug Martin has raved about this year. Redshirt freshman from Reagan High School. Bright future for Ferris, but that's a penalty, and it brings up second down and 20. The give is to Eli Anderson, who's trying to spin out of a tackle. We still haven't seen Omari Samuels. Doug Martin said this week he wants to make sure Omari is 100%, so his status is unknown because of a minor injury. Nothing serious, but Doug said if Omari is going to play, I want him at 100%. And we haven't seen him yet.
And I think they're going to have to try to get something going here. Haven't got the running game up, haven't got the downfield threat. Now, third and long makes it very tough. Third
down and 19. Robert Downs, the third, is belted right when he catches it. Benji Franklin, the senior corner from Houston, makes the tackle.
Hung on to the football, but boy, Benji came in there with a lick, right? So they're sitting in a zone, sitting back there, third and long. They're just not letting him have anything deep. So he finds something underneath, and Benji comes and puts the leather to him. But he held on to the football, though. Great catch.
The Texans sure do hit hard, don't they?
They do. They're aggressive.
Carlson. Back to receive the punt.
So we'll get another punt from Josh Carlson, who's already punted 3 times in the game. He's been able to flip field position a few times. Another good punt. This one is into the wind, and a fair catch is called for by Kalen Horton early on here in quarter 2. 38-yard punt by Carlson into the wind. Carlson taking over for Peyton Theisler. The Aggies had to replace a couple guys in special teams. Dylan Brown graduated, so did Theisler. Those two guys did a really good job for a number of years with the Aggies, and now Carlson handles the punts. And Ethan Albertson handling the kicks this year for the Aggies. Ball is placed on the 28-yard line. Cameron Burston, the quarterback today for Tarleton, a couple of pretty long touchdown runs. The most recent one, a 21-yard touchdown scamper on 3rd down and 15. And the Texans lead 23-7 with the ball early on in quarter 2. Spring football game number 2 for them. Burston throws on the run. It looks like Roberson was out of bounds, and he was. Flag is down, though, near the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense. Number 54. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
You know, Burston's getting that ball out really quick. Maybe that's part of it if they're holding a little bit, but he has a little play action. A lot of their stuff is a play action, so it's fake the run, come up, throw the ball right away.
3rd penalty on Tarleton. It's been a highly penalized game on both sides so far. That penalty was on left tackle Layden Ernst, who's a redshirt freshman, a transfer from Oklahoma State. And it makes it first down and 20. Low snap to Burston. Rosemond, who's used a bunch here in the last 5 minutes or so. Spelling Skinner, and a flag is down again.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 98. 15-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
Can't just get out of our own way sometimes here. Give a ball right up the middle. Not much happening. Everything's plugged up, and then you just have a great tackle and end up with a face full of face mask, and that costs you.
Automatic first down for Tarleton. That penalty was on Zach Stokes, sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee, a newcomer on the defensive line for defensive line coach John Mumford. Pass is whistled far side of the field, and Xavier Hinkle breaks it up. Almost had an interception intended for J.F. Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam had to get rid of the ball. So this time he called up some pressure, trying to get back to that pressure defense, and the pressure comes in a hurry, and he has to get rid of the ball fast in order to do that. So he does. Hinkle's right there on the play, though, breaking it up.
Second down and 10 for Tarleton. Rosemond, the running back, RPO. Pass is caught. Gabe Douglas, once again, heavily used so far. Junior from Shreveport, who had a pair of catches last week. And he picks up 13 yards. That'll move the chains again.
Again, fake the play action, get the ball out in a hurry. Defense is playing off in a zone, kind of a soft zone. And so in order to, when that happens, they say, fine, we'll just take what you give us.
Good job stopping the run for the Aggies, but we have a flag down again. This one is near the Aggies sideline on the near side of the field.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
This is our Blake Haynes, Danny, who is filling in today at right tackle for Zach Perry, who's out with COVID protocols.
Yeah, they had to really mix up of that offensive line with so many people that were missing, so they moved them around, and some people gets out of position a little bit and just jump just a little bit.
Rosemond again trying to find a hole, and a host of Aggies take him down, including Joshua Ferguson. Javon Chambers is out, so is Zach Perry on the offensive line for the Texans. Then wide receiver Tariq Benson is out. He's a star. Running back Khalil Banks, and the normal starting quarterback Stephen Duncan is out as well because of COVID protocols. But you would not know that Cameron Burston was the backup in 2019 and the backup this year. You wouldn't know it.
Wow, look at those penalties already.
Right back to Rosemond. The Aggies stop the run up front.
39, D'Angelo Roseman.
Gain of 1 for Rosemond.
By number 72, Justin Segura. Aggie fans,
Big Justin Segura.
Third down.
Third down and 11. Line to gain is the 41 for Tarleton. The Aggies show heavy pressure from linebacker. Brohard missed him. Check that. That was Brennan Davis who nearly clipped Burston. who had to escape the Aggie middle linebacker.
Looks like Spaziani brought the house there in that case, and everyone's coming in there. And if he would have broke through there, there was no one left because everyone was coming on the blitz. So here they come, bring the house, trip them up, though, and is able to still get them down and create that fourth down situation. Nice stop by the Aggies. That's what they needed there.
Tackle for loss made by Ferguson. It was Davis who clipped Burston to force him into that tackle for loss. And Jake Walrath will punt it. 2 downs, the third. Calls for a fair catch.
Touchback.
And the Aggies are looking for a penalty because Downs was clobbered. It turns into a touchback. Under 10 left in quarter number 2. Jonah Johnson so far 1 for 5, only for 4 yards unofficially. 23-7. The Aggies trail. Robert Downs III is one of his returning targets. Johnson playing in his first game with the Aggies, but Downs was here in 2019. And right on cue, the catch is made by Robert Downs for a gain of 7. Well done by our production truck.
Yeah, way to go, production guys. Way to go, Adam. Nice call. Robert Downs on a little quick slant across the middle there. Perfect to get it running.
Aggie offense trying to find a rhythm. Pass is caught, Terrell Warner, then he lost it. Are they going to say he had full control, though, Danny? We'll see. I think he did.
Pass is incomplete.
I think they're going to call it incomplete. I think they're going to call him that he bobbled it as he stepped out. You know, this is a kind of a funny route because you end up with 2 guys in the same situation in the same place. I mean, and certainly.
10-yard penalty, 96 down.
Wow, another penalty.
This one is holding on Gabriel Preciado, redshirt junior from San Diego. Started his career at San Diego. Played for new Aggie offensive line coach Corey White there. 8 penalties now, which it's a high number, but it's the first game in almost 450 days for this Aggies team with so many newcomers. Jonah Johnson trying to escape, and he can't. Flag comes down again. There's about 3 of them.
Quarterback sack for the Texans. Number 50.
You know, just couldn't get enough protection as he's trying to scramble to get out of there. There's a couple guys that were breaking free, but he just needed just a bit more time to get that pass off, and he couldn't get out of there. Boy, Tarleton's bringing a lot of pressure. They're not letting him sit back there. As you see right here, down there, there's no one. He's scrambling. Now they're breaking free, but he just didn't have enough time to get that ball off.
That was McCody Robertson with the sack, sophomore from Pflugerville, Texas, Mesa Junior College transfer. In his first season at Tarleton.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, New Mexico State, number 78. Half the distance to the goal, 3rd down.
The Aggies approaching 10 now on penalties. That's on Preciado again, his second penalty during this offensive series.
And it kind of fell on him there, gave him a little extra after the play, and that'll cost you.
Third down and a bunch. The Aggies need the 30. They're going to run it with Jawan Price, and he gets up near the original line of scrimmage, and the Aggies will have to punt again.
Well, that's too bad, Adam. You know, it was just couldn't get any rhythm going. Penalties are killing them, but still, they're just not enough offensively throwing the ball down the field. The run can't get the run going. So it's just a rhythm. They just can't seem to find it. And those penalties sure doesn't help get that rhythm. So you end up in 3rd and long, and there's nothing there. So they're playing deep. You can't throw the ball deep. So they're just giving you something short. You run the ball, little give, and there's not much there, and you have to punt it.
Josh Carlson has had a good day. He punts into the wind again. Kalen Horton is calling for a fair catch, and he handles it right around 4 black jerseys. 38-yard punt, the second straight 38-yard punt for Carlson into the wind. That's a good sign so far. Josh Carlson has looked good. Tarleton State ahead 23-7. FBS Independent Aggies versus the FCS Independent Texans. A pair of independent programs going at it today from the Sun Bowl in El Paso in this home game for the Aggies.
You know, last series defensively, there was a good stand for the Aggies, so maybe they're getting it together and figuring out what they need to do defensively. So let's see how they do in this series.
Raheem Skinner is back in at running back alongside Burston. Handoff goes to him, a first down run for Skinner, and he picks up 11.
22, Raheem Skinner on the carry.
So it's been Skinner and Rosemond in the absence of Bridges and Banks to carry the load in the backfield for Tarleton.
You know, they're blocking up front where they're giving this crease, and this crease allows them to get to the second level in a hurry. That's where the backers have to start playing in there to make those stops.
Burston hit as he throws, and it's too long.
Pass is incomplete.
Intended for 6'5" wide receiver J.F. Thomas, a 3-year starter for Tarleton.
Yeah, so coach is bringing pressure to not let him sit back there, and so here comes the pressure.
Illegal hit. State number 80. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Danny, you said it earlier. The Aggies just can't get out of their own way right now. That's on Trevor Brohart, a late hit.
And they can't. It's just too bad. So finally, you dial up some pressure to put on the quarterback so he can't get anything going downfield. Gets a penalty, gives him a first down, moves him closer, makes it tough for the defense now.
An undisciplined start for the Aggies with so many penalties here in the first quarter and a half. Skinner met by Devlin Kirkland, who comes up from the Aggie safety position to make the tackle. And a player is down for the Aggies. That might be Brennan Davis. Yeah, Brennan Davis is slow to get off. Senior from Grapevine, Texas, a transfer from Tyler JUCO. And he goes off with the help of the training staff a little bit, favoring that leg, it looks like. 11 first downs for Tarleton, only one so far for NM State. Run pass option for Burston, tosses downfield, incomplete. Through the hands of J.F. Thomas, who is usually sure-handed.
Yeah, you know, I think he had him too, right? He got him in between the corner and the safety, and it was a decent pass, hit him in the hands, so probably should have pulled it. So he's got a break there, a little play action again, and you bring it a deep kind of a post in there, and he got behind the corner again and just couldn't pull it down.
Xavier Hinkle and Kayla Mills, the two men in coverage for the Aggies. Timeout called on the field. 7:22 left in half one. A lot of penalties here to start for the Aggies. 10 penalties in the first quarter plus. NM State playing their first game in 449 days. Second game of the season here in the spring for the Texans. They will play 8 games in the spring. The Aggies only playing 2. Burst in with time. Has a receiver that is Douglas, and he hauls it in for the touchdown. Gabe Douglas with a touchdown catch. 29 yards away for Tarleton.
Number 2, Gabe Douglas.
You know, this is one more where receiver getting behind the defensive back, and so when that happens, that's just a throw over top and just drop it in there. Again, that's Williams. Maybe they're picking on Williams a bit there because he jumps on things too quick. Could be, maybe they see something else that's going on there. Could be the play action. But in that case, either way, he got behind the defender, and when it happens, that's a touchdown.
Second receiving touchdown today for Douglas, and we continue to be impressed with the quarterback, Cameron Burston.
Yeah, lots of time back there too. So this time he didn't come with the pressure and let the quarterback, let Burston sit back in there. And we've seen his arm today that it's a good arm. He can drop it in there if he has to drop it right in. If he has to drill it, he'll bring it. So good arm strength, good poise back there, got behind the defender, and again, it cost him for 6.
Douglas only had 2 catches last week, and he has 2 touchdown catches today. Cameron Burston is poised. He is confident. He is a senior, not playing like a backup quarterback. And the Texans lead 30-7 midway through quarter number 2.
Taking off for the Texans, number 48.
Well, the secondary, Adam, we talked about the secondary before the game, right? So you and I were chatting about where they got to be, where are the weaknesses, what are the places we have to think about shoring up, that there's been a lot of changes. And it's the secondary that we talked about a little bit, and you can see it from today. So many times they got the receivers behind the secondary, and when that happens, that nothing good comes of that. So that's an area where we have to really try to work on.
Freshman Adrian Guzman will kick this one away. It is bobbled by Juwan Price. Indecisive. Now he has to take it out, Danny, and he was just too indecisive there at the goal line.
You know, this reminds me a little bit of in spring ball when you always have the first scrimmage, right? So you come to the first scrimmage in spring, you want so much to happen, and there's just jitters. It's like, are you doing things? You got to be, what are we doing? And you can't get in the rhythm. And without that, there's no way to make things happen. So this is one where you just have to almost just say, as a player, you just got to say go. You're just going to go full blast, and the coaches will coach you up on what to do. And I think they have to get back there to just try to make something happen. Just go out there, put the caution to the wind now, just let it go. And let's just play big and see if you can't create something and then be coached up and cleaned up later.
Texans ahead by 23. Juwan Price is the pistol back. He's standing back in the end zone. Johnson in his own end zone. He will air it out. And it is intercepted. Intercepted by Donovan Banks, the free safety from Sweeney, Texas, a transfer from Blinn JUCO.
So Jonah trying to make something happen back there. He has someone down the line, and he wants to show his arm strength, but just not enough there. Into the wind makes it tough.
30-7 Texans, 7:03 left in quarter 2. No fans allowed in the 51,000-seat Sun Bowl today, but a few fans are trying to peek in from the top of the mountain. Beautiful stadium here at the Sun Bowl, by the way.
I guess that's keeping with regulation. They're not allowed in the stadium. They're not in the stadium.
Just trying to get a view.
Trying to get a peek.
Sun Bowl opened up in 1963 on the campus of UTEP. Home of the UTEP Miners. The Aggies have won 3 straight against UTEP, by the way. And, of course, they will play the Miners again in the fall of 2021. Handoff goes to Skinner, trying to spin out of a tackle and move left, and then he's yanked down in the backfield. Taylor Milton with the tackle for loss.
Yeah, so everyone to the ball. The biggest thing I like on defense is that you want lots of hats on the ball. So look at all the hats that are on the ball. Tarleton, though, they're running backs. I will have to say, they don't give up. Just because you're there, you still have to make a tackle. But part of defense is getting to the ball, and lots of hats on the ball. Like to see that.
Milton, a freshman, a redshirt from Zachary, Louisiana. Burston throws wide open is J.F. Thomas past the original line of scrimmage. Tackle is made by JUCO transfer Xavier Hinkle. Thomas picks up 10.
As soon as it snaps, the ball snapped, we see the DB, we see Hinkle turn and run to get back a little bit so no one gets behind him. So here's what happens when you're on the other side of the ball offensive. You see the DBs backing up and getting out of there to give cushion, that they'll just throw it underneath that every single time.
3rd down and 6 for Tarleton. They run it straight up the middle. And Skinner gets up to the 45-yard line. He only gets 2, so it's going to be 4th and 4, and you would have to think Tarleton would punt. But Danny, in a spring game, you never know.
You never know. They got a nice lead. They got a lot of things happening. Not too many bad things happening for them. So you just can't tell. But I think they are going to punt. Good series for the Ags. They are able to come in there and dig their heels in and shut them down. That's a nice stop on 3rd down. That's what you like to see now offensively. Got to get something going before the half.
The punt from Jake Walrath to Robert Downs III. And a fair catch is called for inside the 10. Does this feel odd, Danny, to be playing football in February on a Sunday?
It does. It reminds me of spring ball at New Mexico State, right? So you don't expect to be in a stadium playing against someone else. First of all, you're tired of beating up everyone else, so I get that. So now here comes someone, and now you're going to be playing against a team that's already have a game under their belt. No excuses, but they got to get the rhythm, and they got to try to make things happen, even though it still feels kind of weird, Adam. You're right.
Fresno City junior college transfer Jonah Johnson back out there to run the Aggie offense. The lone Aggie points came on a kick return touchdown for Jawan Price. And Price is the running back here. We still haven't seen Omari Samuels. I would have to assume, since he hasn't played yet, he probably will not play today, the star transfer from Michigan.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think as it gets a little colder, too, there's like no use here. So here we are, a little option, and then just give underneath there and pick up whatever positive yards you can.
2nd down and 7 after the 3-yard run for Price. Catch is made by Cole Harity, transfer from Saddleback College. He's one of 2 transfers at wide receiver from Saddleback. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda is the other.
Little out right here, so Cole gets in there, gets behind the first line, and gets in front of the deep safeties. He got 2 deep safeties, and so finds a little gap in there and sits down for the pass.
Johnson trying to find a rhythm. Catch is made by Terrell Warner, his first reception today. He's a returner and a transfer from Dodge City JUCO who played for the Aggies in 2019. Only 2 first downs for the Aggies in this first half as the clock ticks under 4 minutes. Johnson across the middle, great catch. How about that snag for Robert Downs III, who plays bigger than 5'11".
Robert Downs III, nice catch in there. You need someone that's going to be in there to break open a play and try to make something happen. That's what you need. Nice catch right there.
Pass and catch of 10 yards, an Aggie first down. Johnson lobs it deep, intended for Jared Wyatt, and the 2 guys were not on the same page. Coverage there from Josh Kemp, the strong safety for Tarleton.
Yeah, I can see what they're trying to get at right here. So in this case, you've thrown some short. Now you try to work it deep a little bit. You get behind the DB just a bit, and the safety's not ever there to help, but we just can't get the timing on that. Be nice to get Jared White into the game here, get some of these passes into the intermediate routes. I think that'll help loosen things up for the run a little bit more, because you're going to have a hard time getting deep balls on the deep safeties.
Johnson under pressure on 2nd down and 10, and he has to take the sack. A number of guys there, including Jordan Wells, number 12 in white, a young man from Navasota, Texas.
The offensive line, I think they're starting to pick on him a little bit and trying to put some pressure on there, and they just can't hold him off long enough so he can get rid of the ball.
Wells was a 3rd-team All-American at the Division II level in 2019 at Tarleton. And that brings up 3rd down and 22. Heavy pressure from the Texans. Johnson has an open man, and it was just too long for Warner, who was streaking down the far sideline, and he was wide open.
They came out of that 2 deep coverage that they had and ended up just with 1 high safety in there, and he was open down the line there. Warner could have been there. I think he was there, as a matter of fact, but the ball just not quite getting to where he needs to make the catch.
The arm strength is there, Danny, for Jonah Johnson. Timing isn't there yet, right?
Yeah, clearly you can see his arm strength right there. He let that thing ride down the line and without any effort at all. But the timing, you're right. It just didn't look like the timing.
Number 35, Josh Carlson.
Josh Carlson has been a busy man here in this first half. He will punt it to Kalen Horton with under 3 left in this opening half. 30-7 Texans. That'll take an Aggie bounce, and it's down near the 30. "39-yard punt there for Josh Carlson as it cools down a little bit here at the Sun Bowl in El Paso. The Aggies will play 2 spring home games here in this venue due to state regulations and restrictions in New Mexico. The Aggies now able to practice but not play games in their stadium, which forces them to play spring ball as far as games are concerned here at the Sun Bowl. The Aggies will also host Dixie State coming up in a few Sundays from now on March 7th. Burston will swing it out. High catch is made. Tackle made by Devlin Kirkland. The reception for Antoine Ware, his first of the season, a junior from San Antonio.
You know, we're getting there too. So here we are, we see what's happening, we're reacting, we're getting to the ball. But again, you see an over pursuit right there. That's where you have to break down before you get to the guy with the ball so you can make that tackle.
Second down, 5 yards to go. First down and more for D'Angelo Rosemond, who's trying to push Caleb Mills across the 50. Rosemond, who was not used last week against McNeese State, the young freshman from San Antonio, has had a good first half.
Yeah, so they get a little tempo in here. So you run the second play very fast so you don't give the Ags time to set up in there. He gets in that little crease to the outside, breaks it for some big yards.
Here's Rosemond again. A first down carry. And he only gets a couple.
D'Angelo Rosemond on the carry.
Remember, Khalil Banks unavailable today due to COVID protocols, and Braylon Bridges suffered an injury early, and we hope that is not serious for the star freshman out of Houston who left the game early on in the first quarter.
Please set the game clock to 1:52.
It sure hasn't stopped their being able to get to the next guy up, which coaches had to think about coming in here since so many guys were caught up with this COVID, that the next guy up from a freshman standpoint steps in there, and he's doing a great job running the ball.
They will throw the ball here, and not on the same page with Gabe Douglas, and that's the rare time today when Douglas and Burston have not been on the same page. They've been in sync the rest of the first half.
And I think Hinkle came off that coverage there, so it was a little out pattern there. Hinkle came off to get to the guy that was coming out for a swing pass, which meant the safety had to come over and help that. Timing was off a little bit, so gives a good position for the Aggies.
Third down and 8. The Texans need the 40. Burston will whistle a pass that is caught on a slide by Ware. How about that handle by Antoine Ware, his second catch during this series.
Yeah, I'm very impressed that they find that we're in zone, and so they find the areas that crease where there's no one yet covering it, and they just get the ball right there, and nice little sliding catch.
22-yard pass and catch. Rosemond, the running back. Burston, RPO, high throw. Intended for the freshman Darius Cooper. Too high for that 6-foot freshman from St. Louis.
A little
for number 6,
kind of a post pattern coming across the middle there, or an in, a deeper in, trying to break behind one receiver breaking left. You have one coming across the middle there, and just the timing not there.
Second down and 10 for Tarleton in this quiet stadium with no fans. Doug Martin said this week it's probably going to feel like a scrimmage, and I think at times it's felt that way a little bit with no fans in a big venue.
Tackle made by number 6, Michael Bowe.
1 minute left in the first half. Texans trying to tack on some more points to finish off the half, and it's been a good first half for this first-year FCS independent from Stephenville, Texas. Coming off back-to-back undefeated regular seasons at the Division II level. Burston will whistle a pass that is caught by Ware, his third catch. And the clock rolls down to 30 seconds left.
Pass is complete.
They're just going to keep working it as long as the Aggies are off the ball as much as they are from a defensive cornerback standpoint. They're going to take that 5 yards every single time.
It is 4th and 1 for Tarleton State. The clock continues to move, and they're going to kick, it looks like, in the final couple of seconds here in the first half. And that man has led the charge this half for Tarleton. Cameron Burston, the senior from Vallejo, California, has played a really, really good first 30 minutes for Tarleton. Adrian Guzman is the freshman kicker from Temple, Texas, who had a great week against McNeese State. Went 3 for 4 in field goals, along of 45, made from 37, 38, and 45, but he did miss from 50. And he really showed off his leg in some frigid, cold temperatures last week in Stephenville.
Yeah, big leg with those cold temperatures. He was still able to get those kicks off. He's got a very strong leg. Saw him warming up earlier. Very doable right here. Just big leg.
This one from 34 yards away. Out of the hold of the punter, Jake Walrath. The kick from Guzman. And it is good. So Adrian Guzman is now 4 for 5 during his first collegiate season. And that is how we end a long first half of football here at the Sun Bowl in El Paso. Tarleton State 33, NM State 7, spring ball from chilly El Paso here at the Sun Bowl.
Well, Adam, here's the thing. You want things to work on going into halftime, and you're saying, okay, so what do we do? There's a lot to work on. They've scored defensively, Tarleton offensively. They've moved and done just about anything they wanted. Offensively, we haven't got anything going. A lot to think about.
Halftime comes your way next from El Paso. Adam Young and Danny Nee back with you in El Paso. 33-7 is our score here at halftime. Great to have you with us today for this first Aggie spring football game, the only FBS program playing right now in the spring. What do you need to see in half two, Danny?
Well, here's what you need to do. You need to break this down into smaller segments. So you want to pick one or two things and improve on that. A lot to pick from. It's going to have to be a little more offense, try to get some rhythm. See something happen there. Defensively, secondary, work on that. Small victories is what you're looking for.
Time now for the first half stats. They are presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Mexico. A turnover each. I think the biggest statistic, Danny, is probably penalties.
Well, a lot of penalties. This is clearly, it looks like a first spring game, and so those are a lot of penalties that you see right there. But you also didn't get a lot happening, so that kind of made the offense look a little worse than it was because of so many penalties.
Cameron Burston was really good, 194 yards through the air, and he also ran for a long score to kick off the football game. He's apparently the backup, but he is not playing like it so far. These highlights are presented by First Light Federal Credit Union, your better credit union with 10 locations in El Paso and Las Cruces. Burston set the tone early, Danny.
He did. You know, he stepped up in there. He caught a couple times the defensive backs from biting, and once they bit, he dumped it in behind them there. And so he just had a great first half. The big thing for us is a kick return. We get a touchdown, but you can see the rhythm. The rhythm's not there. You see the throwback, the lateral gets into the end zone, creates a safety. With the safety, had to give the ball back to him. Burston again gets on the rhythm. He gets a broken play, jailbreak, a lot of missed tackles, ends up walking it into the end zone.
Burston was outstanding. Remember, Stephen Duncan, the starter, unavailable today, and Burston has been on the money numerous times. Touchdown catch there for Gabe Douglas. He had a really good first half.
Yeah, Douglas on fire.
4 catches, 137 yards. How about that, Danny?
I like that, so he came off, only had 2 receptions, as you noted earlier last week, and this time he's just on fire.
Number 9, Juwan Price.
Score was 23-7 after one quarter. Now it is 33-7 through 2 quarters as it continues to cool down here in El Paso, Texas. And the Aggies will receive the opening kick in half number 2. Juwan Price had a first half kickoff return touchdown. The return comes from him here. as he pushes across past the 25 up to the 26-yard line. He did his best Jason Huntley impression in the first half. Jason Huntley had a bunch during his career.
He did. He looked, I remember those real long ones, especially at the bowl game, had some great returns there. And he did. He came in there, that one return, he starts up the middle, then breaks it to the outside. Huntley did the same thing and took them to the house.
The Price kick return touchdown made it a 14-7 game, but since, Tarleton has scored 19 unanswered. Quarterback for the Aggies is still Jonah Johnson. In motion was Andre Bodison. Johnson will roll left, fires across the middle, and it is intercepted. Benji Franklin with the pick. Benji Franklin is pushed out of bounds by Johnson. His second thrown interception. Donovan Banks had the first. Benji Franklin, the transfer from Navarro JUCO, gets this one.
Yeah, Benji was just stalking him all the while, so you have a little bootleg action there where Jonah comes out one way. He tries to tuck it in there, but Benji was just spying him all the while. And so the minute he saw him, he just came up there and just made a break on the ball and had a nice return with it once he caught the ball.
This Tarleton State defense did not force any turnovers in their first game of the season against McNeese State. They did commit 2 turnovers, so they were -2 in the turnover margin. But they have forced a couple today. A couple of interceptions thrown by Jonah Johnson in his Aggie debut. Cameron Burston is back in at quarterback. Rosemond, the freshman running back, who was great in the first half. I think he's one of the best surprises so far. That is carry number 11 for him. And he's already run for 40 yards on those carries.
Yeah, again, Aggies are in a situation where you have to dig your heels in there, and so you have to, Taylor Milton came in there, make a great tackle, hang on, and try to pull him back.
Ball is on the 3-yard line. Rosemond for 40-7 the score here at the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. Adam Young, Danny Nee on hand. A Jonah Johnson interception, then a D'Angelo Rosemond 3-yard touchdown run right after. And you always want to come out of the locker room strong, Danny, and that's something that we heard. Interception, not even a minute in.
Yeah, I totally agree, Adam. I like the play call, though. I like a naked bootleg because really what happens is it makes everyone go one direction. You come the other direction with the ball, and then you have 2 receivers downfield. The problem is that you had Benji back there that was fine. The whole thing coming across there and didn't bite one bit. So maybe Jonah misread a little bit, kind of hard to tell, but it makes it very tough coming out of your break at a half. On the first series, and it does affect your confidence without a doubt.
Guzman will kick off. A return for the Aggies and Juwan Price. Price up near the 30. Doug Martin did say that he would try to stick with one quarterback each game. Remember, the Aggies have a couple of different options. Weston Egan is a highly touted redshirt freshman from Santa Clarita, California. But Coach Martin felt like Jonah Johnson would probably have game 1, and then Weston Egan would play the majority of game 2. He doesn't like pulling quarterbacks in and out, he said, and looks like Johnson will stay in.
I agree with that, too, by the way, because you just can't get into anything good with your just going in and out because you don't know if you're going in or what's happening.
Running back, Juwan Price can't get away from Ronell Wilson, who did not play in the first half, the linebacker from Abilene, because he was ejected early on in the second half last week, so he could not play in the first half today.
But there he is, showing up on time.
He was ejected for targeting, of course. Right back to Juwan Price. Redshirt freshman from Peoria, Arizona, picks up 5 yards.
So they see something a little different here. So they come out here and they're in like a 2-by-2, and they're trying to stretch the field. So what they're trying to do is get the defense to open up a little bit. And by opening up, meaning you got to cover guys on both ends of the spectrum, you end up with little slots that you can run your running backs into, which is what they're doing.
First down and 10 for the Aggies. High snap to Johnson. Plenty of time this time. Catch has made a good one, a leaping grab there for Cole Harity, his second reception today.
Yeah, a lot of good things to talk about in that. So everyone was covered initially. This was a long developing play, so you have to have a lot of time back there. Plenty of time to pass. Look at him have the patience. Cole comes back, and he drills the ball to him. So great play right there.
Harity picks up 9 yards on the catch. It is second down and 1. Eli Anderson fights for first down yardage.
Number 22.
We've had a few snaps to kind of get away from us. I know this is kind of problematic because it's really tough to get the play off in rhythm. So here's another one that was snapped low, and you had to pick it up off the ground and try to still make the handoff.
The Aggies are having to try different players at center with Eli Johnson not available to play today because of being a mid-year addition. Here's the first catch as an Aggie. 5-yard pickup for Isaiah Garcia Castaneda.
Number 7.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see where he could start getting out there to help. I've heard great things about him, so nice to see him get into the action and make a catch.
Just like Harity, Garcia Castaneda, a transfer from Saddleback College. This throw from Johnson goes over the head of Garcia Castaneda, and Jonah Johnson was belted when he threw it.
Yeah, so, when he's had time back there, Jonah's done quite well. In this case, you have pressure coming. It kind of leaks through there, and it does. It belts him right in the face, and he's still be able to get the ball off, but it would drift a little high.
That pressure came from linebacker Chadwick Thibodeau. Pistol back is Anderson on a third down and 5 yards. Low snap again. Johnson will run with it. He breaks a tackle. Jonah Johnson with the first down run.
Number 10.
That's nice. I wasn't sure if he was going to try to get that pitch off. I was thinking, oh no, here we go again. Can he get the ball back to him? A low snap again, and this makes it problematic. But he comes down the line, he fakes the pitch, takes it upfield, gets the first down, and then a little extra. Nice job.
High snap this time from Gabriel Preciado. And the pass is bobbled and then intercepted. Donovan Banks' his second interception today. And Jonah Johnson throws his third, his second early on in half two.
This is tough right here, so he lets the ball rip and coming across there on a little post pattern. Hits him in the hands, a little high, but the rule generally is if you can get both hands on the ball, you need to pull it down. Now, he put a little heat on it, but you still have to catch that. So it bounced through his hands, and whenever the ball bounces up off a receiver and it goes up in the air, it's usually bad news. In this case, it was another interception.
In the first half, it was penalties early on in half two. It is turnovers. Cameron Burston hands it off to Rosemond. And he's taken down the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Trevor Brohard from his linebacker position. He's been active today.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I think Trevor's healthy, as we talked about early on in the game, and so he's in there really helping where he can and making big tackles and just hanging on.
Second down carry for Rosemond. He gets up to the 25-yard line. He picks up 6.
39, Rosemond on the carry.
So this could be a good big third down right here, right? So you want to make a good stop, get the ball back to your offense, because the offense was moving. I mean, a lot of good things happening. So big third here, see if they can get off the field.
Third down and 4. There you get a look at Trevor Brohard, number 80 in black. Aggies rush 5, bad snap. Burston collects. Burston will throw on the run, nearly a one-handed snag for Antoine Ware. And now the Texans will have to punt 5 minutes into quarter 3.
Yeah, so a low snap in the Tarleton's case, just like Aggies, a little try to get to the outside. Broken play, gets the ball downfield, but just can't make the play. Now they're going to have to punt the ball, get the ball back to the Aggies, see if they can get something going, get some points on the board here.
Robert Downs the third back to receive the punt from Jake Walrath. Good punt for Walrath. He had Downs backpedaling. Downs will spin twice, and he gets across the 35-yard line. 40-7 Texans. 9:50 left in quarter 3. NM State made the short 45-mile drive along Interstate to 10 for this one here today against the Texans of Tarleton State, a home game for the Aggies. Jonah Johnson at quarterback. Johnson thought about throwing, now he tucks it and runs, and he's across the 40, stays on his feet and shows off his mobility near midfield, Danny.
Yeah, he's a hoss too, right? So it just had a couple arms went out to try to pull him down with just one arm tackle, and it's not going to happen. So I'd like to see it. A lot of things happening there. Came out, and they were showing a defense that looked like a man. They were disguising it, moved back into a zone. Jonah wasn't sure, so he did the right thing and just taking care of the football.
Johnson is listed at 235 pounds, but Doug Martin said he's playing at 245. That run goes for 7 for Jawan Price.
Number 9, Chadwick Thibodeau. 1st and 10.
We've seen some snapping issues. Gabriel Preciado's in at center. Eli Johnson will be the starter in the fall, but he's a mid-year addition, so he can't play. Isaiah Mercelat was supposed to be the starting center today. Terrell Warner steps out of bounds.
Pass is complete to number 7
at the 42-yard line, it looks like.
Out of bounds at the 42.
Yeah, that's a nice catch. So he looks one way, looks everyone off, everyone moves that way. He sees Warner out there coming around like a little screen and gets some extra yardage. Got a little rhythm going.
Cole Harity in motion. Price to the left of Johnson. Price takes the handoff, bouncing to the edge. Good tackle made. That's Devin Hafford again. Boy, is he good from his cornerback position. Redshirt senior from Texas.
Yeah, that was a good tackle, but you got to stay on him here. So again, they come out in this 3-by-1 kind of stretching offensive look and hands the ball off, breaks to the outside, one block away from a big play.
4 wide receivers set. Running back is Anderson. Johnson fumbles, picks it up, then he's going to run with it. Now he'll throw it. Eli Anderson couldn't quite grab it on 3rd down and 5.
No. Even when things look like they could be coming our way, we bobble it and can't take care of the football. Jonah keeps the play alive. I like the action that he's in there. Lots of poise. He's not getting too, even though he puts the ball on the carpet, it bounces back up. He's still in complete control. He sees someone, stops, puts the ball up there. Another one that should have been caught.
The Aggies will go for it, trailing 40-7 here on 4th down and 5. Ball is at the 42. The Aggies need the 37. Pocket collapses. Johnson steps up, and he reaches forward down to the 40. He only gets 2 yards, and that's a turnover on downs. But it's certainly a situation where you have to go for it if you're the Aggies.
Yeah, I think so. I think you get behind the sticks, but you see someone that's wide open here. Here you have a quarterback that's just trying to make something happen, and you get into the secondary, your hands up, it's like, why can't he see me? Well, the reason is that everyone is in his face, pulling on him, and it's hard to see people downfield. But, as things progress, you maybe be able to see those a little bit more. I think that was Terrell that was downfield wide open. Maybe could have been a TD, but those are tiny things. Those are things that are going to get better with each game, with each series that we play.
Yeah, that was Terrell Warner who was wide open. 40-7 Texans. We're back with you in El Paso. Today's game is presented by Coors Light. Celebrate Aggie Game Day with an ice-cold Coors Light. Available at local retailers. Coors Light, an official beer of Aggie fans. First spring game for the Aggies, spring game number 2 of 8 for the Texans. The Aggies will only play 2 games in the spring. Next game for them will be against Dixie State. Good coverage down there. Pass was intended for J.F. Thomas, who's been targeted a bunch. Damani Williams in coverage.
Yeah, you know, Williams is back there, and he looks like he's close. It was good coverage. He was on him, but Thomas is 6'5", so he can go up in the air, and you know, that's a tough coverage right there when you're giving up so much height.
In case you're wondering about this talent for the Texans, J.F. Thomas was a high school 4-star. He was the 22nd ranked wide receiver in the country. Doug Martin said this week, he said they have FBS talent, and that's been on display today after that run right there for Raheem Skinner.
Number 80.
Third down and 4 coming up for the Texans. They were 23-2 in their final 2 years at Division II. They were a Division II power. Now moving to Division I. Burston will toss. It is caught by Dre Roberson, who last week had a team-high 11 catches. He picks up 6, and it's good enough for a first down.
Yeah, we haven't seen Dre much today. He did have a big last week like you talked about, maybe because Gabe Douglas is having so much other big day as well, but in this case it was just a little flood pattern to the outside that just caught him open enough to make that first down.
And the Texans are without Tariq Bitson, who had a team-high 87 receiving yards last week. Lunging effort by Douglas. It is incomplete. Damani Williams was there in coverage. So they're without Bitson today, and he's usually one of their best wide receivers, Danny.
Yeah, I think he had a big last week with 5 receptions, 87 yards, so not having him in a TD, not having him, you would think, that's going to really put him in a pickle. However, I haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of other players step up and do good. But, you know, the defense for the Aggies in the second half so far have shown big, bright spots, and so this is something you can build upon.
Second down and 10 for the Texans. They will run it on second down. It is Skinner again, who had 61 carries for 379 in 2019 for the Texans. I guess you could say last year, but technically last year. So it's last season 2 years ago.
Last season, 2 years. That's right, 2019.
Third down and 6 for Tarleton. Ball is on the 45 of the Aggies. Pass is complete. Another one to Gabe Douglas, the transfer from Kilgore College, having himself a day in the first game for the Texans ever against an FBS school.
Yeah, you know, I think they see something over there on Williams' side. This is to the boundary side, and we're coming off the receiver so fast that it's allowing them to drive downfield, stop, and they'll be wide open because we're bailing, not letting the receiver get behind us, and it's giving him 8 yards.
Another give to Skinner. He picks up 2 yards. Tackle made there by Mike Edwards, number 31 in black.
So we talk about hats to the ball. We see a lot of guys around there. We have lots of speed coming in on the side there, and so great tackle.
Second and 8 for Tarleton. Skinner to the left of Burston. RPO, near side Douglas. Taken down by Chris Bell and Damani Williams. He just runs really good routes, Danny.
He does, and I think when we're playing, we're soft as we are, you know, we got to be able to somehow challenge him, but he runs great routes because if you play off him, he gets to find a spot in there, and he'll just sit down in that spot, and the ball's delivered right on target.
Clock moving, under 5 left. They swing it out, and the ball is bounced in front of J.F. Thomas. Check that, Dre Roberson. It was a forward pass, and it brings up second down and 10.
I think that's the first pass that I've seen that came up a little short. You know, the rest of the time he's been spot on with all his passing there, but trying to get Dre back in the game. the Aggies, they really need to get a stop here. They need to put some pressure on them. So we talked in the open, and sometimes we lose the fact of, well, what are you trying to do defensively? Well, what they're trying to do is they were trying to get back to a pressure defense, but I really haven't seen that today, Adam.
Only one starter back on defense, Devin Richardson at linebacker. Burst in through the air and out of the reach of Gabe Douglas.
For number 2.
So the Aggies have newcomers all across the board, and Doug Martin felt like the position where the Aggies were behind the most was the secondary, where they're still trying out a linebacker.
And Williams, they keep trying to pick on Williams, but let me tell you, to be out there on an island by yourself and be able to take that pattern and cover it completely, nothing there, that's a great job by Williams.
3rd and 10 from the 24. Burst in, rolling left. Taylor Milton couldn't quite get him, and it's out of bounds. Taylor Milton came out of nowhere and nearly took down Burston for a sack.
He did, man. He was just blasting in there, but just couldn't get to him. So here's the pressure. We talked about pressure defense a few plays ago, and it's just we just hadn't seen it. But in this case, we see lots of pressure. We can just make that tackle. That'd be great. But so much pressure, he had to get rid of the ball.
The Aggies love those linebackers from Louisiana. Milton from Zachary. Of course, Javon Ferguson was from Baton Rouge and had a great career for the Aggies. 41-yard try for Guzman, and it is no good. Just the second miss.
Field goal is no good.
And 6 tries this year for the freshman from Temple, Texas, Adrian Guzman.
Well, Guzman has a big, strong leg, and so you can see right here, it's a good snap, good hold, but it looks like he just kind of pulled it.
Sports Accessories has the best Aggie gear in town at the best price. Check out their showroom in Las Cruces or visit the online store at theaggieshop.com. Ryan Cox, a former Aggie football player, does great things at Sports Accessories. Jonah Johnson has his pass deflected, then caught by Andre Bodison. He's a returner. Redshirt senior from Palm Coast, Florida. I think that got deflected, Danny.
It did, but it was great patience by Jonah. It took a long time for that play to develop here, and you can kind of see it right there. Isolation, runs a little out route in there. Jonah sits in there just enough to dump it in there right in front of the safeties. Found that little sweet spot.
21-yard connection. Johnson underneath. Terrell Warner sprints ahead. Terrell Warner across the 30. Near the 20-yard line. Good explosion there for Warner.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's one where you can get the ball out in front to the receiver and let him create something on that little crossing route underneath. Jonah sees what's happening, dumps it to him quickly. He's in front of the defender, and it's just downfield for as many yards as you can get. Nice to see something good, positive, good rhythm happening with the Ags.
21 yards to Bodison, now 34 yards to Warner. Johnson looks to throw again. And that one is incomplete. A lot of contact, though. Flag comes in. Intended receiver was Jared Wyatt, and we'll see if it's pass interference.
Jared Wyatt, flag on the play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
This is the fade route. You know, the quarterbacks, they have to be able to just let everything go. You would think after throwing 3 picks, it's like, I don't know if I really want to throw this into coverage here. It's a fade, but, you know, good confidence. He comes back and he throws that fade. And so if it wasn't for a little pass interference, could have been a TD, but puts him in good position right here to put some points on the board.
Jared Wyatt still looking for his first catch today. Ball is at the 5-yard line, and there was some movement for the Aggies, it looks like.
False start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Man, that is a lot of penalties today, isn't it?
Unofficially 11. And that was on the wide receiver, Terrell Warner. Pushes the Aggies back to the 10-yard line. Johnson, design keeper, and he's wrestled down Tackle made by linebacker DJ Harris.
On the scramble.
So do you think, Adam, if that snap would have not been so high, if it was to him immediately, could that have been something he would have got positive yards? I don't think so. Maybe the defense was just too swarming in that case. But, you know, those are just little things that you can make corrections on that could make a big difference. I asked you a question and I answered it. Sorry about that.
Possible, though, Danny. I think it could have been possible that he could have got positive yardage. Johnson will keep it again, and he is swarmed immediately by Ronell Wilson, who was ready to go in half one, but could not play in half one today. Had to wait for half two.
Tackle made by number 1, Ronell Wilson.
Yeah, this is one where maybe he should have just let that one go, hand the ball off because there was nothing there.
Third down and goal from the 9-yard line. The Aggies are 1 for 8 on third down today. Running back is Price to the left of Jonah Johnson. Throws left to Price, who wasn't ready for it, had his back turned to Johnson. And sprinting up near Price was Benji Franklin, who was looking for a pick six.
You know, well, there wasn't rhythm. There's nothing there. They can't see to have it happening together yet. And this is just another case of it where you're just thinking, okay, I'm going to wait till I get out a little further, and then I'll turn and look for the ball where he was ready to release the ball immediately. And those are the things that coaches are talking about is, what are you seeing? When are you going to release the ball? And those are just timing things that are going to get better.
Field goal try for Ethan Albertson, his first try as an Aggie out of the hold of Josh Carlson, and it is good for Albertson.
Is good.
So the Aggies get some points. Really their first points in offense today, Danny, because the first 7 came on a kick return touchdown for Jawan Price.
Yeah, so that was a series where they really went downfield. They should have maybe put 6 on the board, but you're going to take whatever you can. But there was a lot of positives that came from that last series on offense that we'd like to see. Moving the ball, running the ball. He's seen more of the receivers, getting the ball to receivers. Receivers are making big plays. So there was just a lot more going on that really made that a positive series.
27-yard field goal for Ethan Albertson. The Aggies pull within 40-10. And if you're asking, well, why don't you go for it in that situation? It's a spring football game. Your place kicker hasn't kicked yet collegiately. I'm in favor of kicking it right there, Danny, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's not like if you're going to, score 6 or 7 that it's going to get you any closer. There's a lot of other things you're going to be looking at here and trying to get small victories. The small victories is, let's get a field goal. Let's see what our kicker can do.
Fair catch is called for by the up man for Tarleton. If this spring season is just to get ready for the fall, which is what it is, then you work on things. And right now the Aggies have Gabriel Preciado at center, and Gabriel Preciado isn't used to playing center, and we've seen some rocky snaps so far.
We have.
You're going to work in guys that normally don't play much. Doug Martin said, I'm going to try to play everybody.
Yeah, this is the hardest thing to do. So when you come into a game with a strategy that the coaches have of saying, let's just try to get as many people in there, figure out what we have. It's hard when the other team is putting points on you to stick with that strategy. But it still looks like he's trying to get a lot of people in there. There's a lot of different play calling to see what happens.
Cameron Burston back to work. Raheem Skinner is dropped for a loss on the play.
Skinner on the carry.
That was Michael Bowe Jr. from that money position on Frank Spaziani's defense, a loss of 2.
Yeah, and Coach Spaz's defense, you need that money back to really come in there and make some big plays. And so the 2017 season, we had some great plays from that money back. It's good to see Michael Bowe step up in there and make some of those plays. You're going to need someone to step up and make big plays.
Malik Demby was at that position in 2017, and he was a beast early on, Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Burston airs it out, caught by Douglas. He high-pointed that football, and he beat Hinkle. What a day for Gabe Douglas.
Douglas has a good catch there, good throw. Hinkle's in position, but he didn't look back for the ball. So this is one where you're there. Half the battle is getting to the right spot. The other half is making a play. He's got to make the play on that, maybe turn a little faster But in any event, it was a good throw and a good catch, catching the ball at the highest point. These receivers have done a great job.
Pass and catch of 34, and then a big run for Skinner.
Number 22, Raheem Skinner.
As he bounces off of Devlin Kirkland.
Tackle made by number 1, Devlin Kirkland.
Pickup of 18 yards on the run for the 5'8", 220-pound Raheem Skinner.
Skinner shot through there in a hurry, didn't he? He got to that second and third level in no time flat. The backers, we got to get him into the game with some of those big plays.
Skinner again. Not much there this time. A pickup of only 3 yards. And it will bring up 2nd down and 7 with the clock ticking. 20 seconds left in quarter 3.
So this is the same play they've been going with right up the middle, trying to create a crease and get to that second level. In this case, they had lots of hats to the ball, and it just collapsed. I see that Coach Spaziani is running in a lot of different players as well, so this is his chance. They're still sticking with the strategy of trying to play as many as we can, see what we got.
We head to the 4th, a quiet third quarter. Tarleton outscores the Aggies 7-3 in the third. Final quarter when you come back. First game in 449 days for the Aggies. November 30th, 2019 at Liberty was their most recent game. 1 year, 2 months, 22 days ago. A long time ago. Raheem Skinner running on 2nd down and 7 for the Texans as the Aggies try to strip it. Skinner gets 3.
You know, a lot of things changed since that long ago that you've been on the field playing in a game against another opponent here. See a little dive up the middle here. Here's the thing I like that if you're the second or third guy to the ball, you see people trying to rip at the ball. That's a good time to create a turnover, which is what you want to do defensively to get your offense a spark.
3rd and 5, the Texans need the 15. And they will not get it. Skinner, tough to take down. He finally is by a host of Aggies. Lama Levea was in on that tackle as Skinner only gets 3. Levea is from El Paso. He went to high school down the road at Chapin. The Aggies, Danny, since they last played, they went through 2 recruiting cycles. How about that?
Yeah, a lot can change. You know, a lot of players come and go in today's environment, and so a lot changes.
34-yard field goal try for Guzman, and he's now 2 for 3 today. That freshman has a big leg. I couldn't believe how good he was last week in those temperatures in Stephenville, Danny. I mean, he was kicking 40-plus yarders in 20-degree weather.
Yeah, and I know he missed one to 50, but that's a long ways away. But, yeah, it was cold, and he was keeping him in the game. He's got a very strong leg, without a doubt.
In case you're curious, Stephenville, Texas is 25 miles away from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and if you play football in Texas, it is a big deal, and it's a huge deal in Stephenville, Texas.
It is, and I think they have a good recruiting. A lot of people, if you look at the roster, we got a lot of Texas kids that are there. They want to stay somewhere close and play in a very competitive environment, and they choose Tarleton and Stephenville. It's a very competitive school.
There's their head coach, Todd Witten, who's in his 3rd year, I should say 3rd stint at Tarleton State, 11th year with the Texans. 3 different stints, though, and he actually has ties to the Aggies. Todd Witten was an Aggie assistant, the quarterback's coach under Jim Hess, 1990 through 93, and he's also familiar with this venue because he had 2 stints at UTEP in this stadium as the running backs coach in the mid-90s and then the wide receivers coach rather recently, 2013 through 2015, and he's been all over the place. He actually had a really good run, too, at Sam Houston State, Danny.
Yeah. He's done a good job with Tarleton State, too. So I think he's in the right position where the school is climbing, right? We talked about their aspirations to get into the FCS, which they are, and maybe even above that, get to the FBS level. And so a good coach. He's been around, and you can see he has this team up and ready to go. Even with the players that were caught up in COVID, it didn't matter. He was going to next man up, let's get going. The coach has done a great job.
Jonah Johnson back at quarterback. He is 11 for 24 today. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 120 through the air. He goes back to the air. Third catch today for Cole Harity. He should have a big impact come the fall. Cole Harity from Truckee, California, transfer from Saddleback.
Yeah, it's nice to have multiple receivers that you can go to, but you see Jonah here going through his reads and finding not anything open and said, okay, let's just dump the ball off, get some positive yards out of it. So that's a great job.
Second down and 4. Harity was in motion. High snap again. And the running back is Juwan Price. Juwan Price has had the bulk of the carries today. 4-yard pickup. And that will move the chains. Good enough for a first down and a few players down for Tarleton.
Yeah, so they end up in this 3-by-1 formation, which means you have 3 receivers one side, 1 receiver the other, and it's just opening the defense, allowing Price to go get some positive yards right in a crease there.
It's pretty much been all Juwan Price in the backfield. Only a couple of carries today for Eli Anderson. We'll take a break. 2 minutes in quarter 4.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Main second down.
That's on Lou Fendler, who's playing at right tackle. The penalties have been down in this half, though, Danny. That is a positive, but they've been high overall.
They have been, and so the minute you get something going downfield, you end up with a penalty. It's things we're going to have to clean up for sure. But look at the arm strength there. He just whizzes that ball right down the field, just on the run, easy day.
First down and 20 for the Aggies. Juwan Price is the running back. Johnson lofts the pass. That is caught for a loss. Catch was made by Price, and you can kind of tell that play wasn't going to go for much whenever the pass was lofted.
Yeah, it's a good way to change it up here. So now you come up with a little quick screen or something. So you have an aggressive defense. One of the things you do is you throw into it, and in this case, you didn't really sell it to everyone. Benji came screaming in there and made a great tackle.
Second down at 21. A dozen penalties today for the Aggies. I think you have to attribute a lot of that to no game action in quite some time. Double coverage, and it is deflected, and it rolls out of bounds.
Pass is incomplete.
You know, it's hard to throw the ball when you have so many yards to gain, and you end up with 2 safeties that are very deep. Now you can't see it on the screen, but there are 2 very deep safeties that come screaming up from the back as soon as they see the ball released, which is what's going on. And it's tough to make big plays when you're behind the sticks. You're so far back.
Johnson was looking that time for Jadarian Smith, a 5'7", 152 freshman from Mesquite, Texas, who the Aggies have compared to former great wide receiver O.J. Clark. Running back Juwan Price on the reception up to the 29-yard line. The Aggies will have to punt, you would think. Even in a spring game, I don't think you go for it here.
No, I don't think so either. And again, you just have so many people deep that you don't have anything. What they're going to give you is they're going to give you something short, and that's what happened there. And then they come up, and they've been a very sure-handed, sure-tackling Tarleton team. Even when you get Juwan Price, who is a very speedy guy, which we saw on the TD return, right, for a touchdown, he still can't break that. Those are making great tackles.
Heavy workload today for Juwan Price. No Amari Samuels, it looks like, and the Aggies have been using pretty much Price exclusively. We've seen a few doses of Eli Anderson, but that's all. Punt number 7 for Josh Carlson, and it is handled by Kalen Horton.
Fair catch.
Maybe in spring game number 2, maybe. But at least for the fall, for sure, we'll see some different bodies for the Aggies. Amari Samuels is one, star transfer from Michigan. Then come the fall, the Aggies will have their starting center, Eli Johnson, who is a heralded grad transfer from Ole Miss. And Doug Martin has raved about his ability to learn the playbook so quickly since transferring, and also his leadership so far this year. And Amari Samuels, that's all we've heard since he transferred from Michigan, Danny, is how great he's going to be.
Yeah, I was looking to see him run today, but there's no reason if he's a little dinged up still not to be 100% and get on the field. There's just not, doesn't make any sense.
Darrell Kelly III, freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida. So now Tarleton head coach Todd Witten is using some guys on his bench as well, and that's an 8-yard pickup for the young freshman. Ten and a half to go here in the fourth, 43-10. Tarleton looking for their first spring win after a heartbreaking 2-OT loss last Saturday at home against McNeese State in their Division I debut. Another run for the freshman Kelly. The next opponent for both Danny is Dixie State. Tarleton State will have Dixie State next week, and then the following week the Aggies will have the Trailblazers.
Yeah, so we're going to see what happens come Dixie State, see what they can clean up, because this is really the first time they've had a chance to really play someone other than inter-squad scrimmage type stuff. So there'll be a lot to clean up for sure, but there are positives to every time you're on the field. And so there are things that say, yeah, this worked good, and things we really need to clean up. Maybe a little bit more really need to clean up this time, but yeah, it's great to be out here playing spring ball, though, anyway.
21 first downs today for the Texans, only 10 for the Aggies. Kelly is third straight carry, and it looks like the Texans have probably just run the ball here down the stretch. Final 9.5, 6-yard pickup. That's been an issue for the Aggie defense over the last handful of years, is trying to stop the run. Player down right now for NM State, that is Zach Stokes.
Timeout on field.
And with 9:23 left, we will step aside. Adam Young alongside the former Aggie defensive back, Danny Nee. Great to have you with us today from El Paso. Aggie Athletics inducted 4 new members into the Aggie U.S. Bank Hall of Fame earlier this week. Shirley Enku, Neil McCarthy, Amber Simpson, and Simone Bach. The newest inductions into the U.S. Bank Aggie Hall of Fame. Congrats to all 4. They will have a virtual ceremony later on in March. Nine and change left here in the fourth. Kelly turns the corner. And the freshman has come off the Tarleton bench, and he's been impressive as he moves the chains. 200-plus rushing yards today for Tarleton State. In fact, 220 to be exact after that 13-yard pickup.
And you know, it's just the little things where you plug the holes, you're gap conscious, where you're not going to allow anyone to get up in there and make extra yards. He bounces it to the outside, so we just lost containment on that. If you have containment, you don't allow him to break to the outside. You get help to come in there. It's just those little things there that you do good. Initial stop, great. Bounces to the outside, no containment.
Kelly is from Houston. A lot of Houston area natives on this roster for the Texans in their first year at Division I as an FCS independent. Lazarus Williams was in that tackle, a gain of 3 for Kelly. Williams is one of the newcomers at defensive end for the Aggies. That was before those previous 2 runs for Kelly, so 200-plus for Tarleton, only 60 for the Aggies, and that's pretty much been Jawan Price all day.
Yeah, that's quite the stat, too, right? 206 yards to 60 yards.
Cameron Burstyn's had a good day at quarterback for the Texans of Tarleton. Kelly again. So it might be Kelly's quarter. And there are some extracurriculars going on between Xavier Hinkle and Gabe Douglas after the 3-yard run for Kelly.
Just sticking with the same thing that's been working, you know, get lots of positive yards in there, ends up with those holes that, you know, Tarleton's not giving up. They're playing no matter what the score is. They're playing every...
Sportsmanlike conduct, Tarleton number 2. Sportsmanlike conduct, Michigan State, number 22. Those fouls were offset. The down will count. Those are players both for some sportsmanlike conduct fouls of the game. Next one, they will be ejected.
Douglas and Hinkle, they were going back and forth, and they've been going back and forth all day on the field.
Yeah, getting a little chippy in there.
third down for the Texans.
3rd and 4 for Tarleton. Texans have won 23 of their previous 26 games dating back to 2018. Went undefeated in the regular season in their final 2 seasons at Division II before moving to Division I at the FCS level. And Kelly picks up a first down on that run. 6-yard carry for Darrell Kelly. And it's one guy after another coming in and running the football well.
It is, and they're just finding that little edge right there. And once they get on the edge, they just go get positive yards. I just think you're going to see a lot more running. They're just going to stick with it since, they can go get 5, 6, 7 yards a pop until the Aggies shut it down. They'll just continue on that.
1st and 10 for Tarleton from the 35-yard line, and they are letting the clock move. Under 7 left in the 4th. FBS Independent Aggies versus the FCS Independent Texans. First ever game against an FCS program for Tarleton. Another new running back. This is Bowie Franks, a junior from Iowa Park, Texas.
36, Bowie Franks.
They have a stable full of them, don't they, Danny? My goodness.
They just keep coming.
They're without Bridges and Banks. Banks is out because of COVID protocols, and Bridges was injured early on in the game in the first quarter, and Bridges was the guy last week, and Banks was the top guy in 2019.
That just says something about the offensive line, that you can plug and play a lot of running backs in there. They could do a good job because they're getting good blocking up front there.
Right back to Franks, and a good open field tackle is made by Trevor Brohard. He's had a good game today.
He has. He's done quite well, and I think he's just going to get better with each game there, and so that's what we want. We want the backers coming here and fill. So you see him right in the middle of the screen, kind of working down across the field laterally, then coming downfield to make a tackle and hanging on. Most importantly is hang on, because these Tarleton running backs don't just stop once you just grab them and put an arm out there. You got to make sure you hang on. That's a great job by Trevor right there.
Caleb Mills came in to finish off the tackle, and Mills has played a ton today at safety. Remember, he was a wide receiver in 2019. He's making a transition to the secondary. Big 6'5" frame. Franks on a 3rd down and 9, and that's going to bring up 4th down as he
number 36, Franks on the
goes
carry.
for no gain on that run.
Yeah, it's interesting. Caleb Mills, 2019 he had 9 receptions, and so it's quite the change. It's a career change almost for him, right? Going from that side of the ball, it's like, oh, now, by the way, you're a safety. But he's done quite well. He's made the change quite well.
You were a defensive back in college, Danny. What are some of the principles and the keys for somebody like Mills who's making that transition?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is if you're in a safety position, you got to make sure that you are the deep guy, that nothing gets behind you, and that you make sure that you can make a tackle no matter what happens up front, and you should be able to come in and close and help secure runs when you need it.
Texans have to go for it on 4th down and 10, and they won't get it. Guess who? Trevor Brohard. And that's a turnover on downs for the Texans. They were kind of in no man's land right there, the 35-yard line, outside of field goal range for Guzman. Trevor Brohard playing well. Final 4.5 after this.
Will you approve it?
43-10, Tarleton leads. Jonah Johnson stays in at quarterback. Some learning experiences today for the Fresno City Junior College transfer who, at Fresno City, Danny, he posted great numbers both throwing and running the football.
Yeah, those are big numbers. You see 1,600 yards, 61.4% completion. That's good stuff. And so I love to see those numbers here with the Ags.
We will see if he will play against Dixie State, because there was some talk from Doug Martin about playing Johnson game 1 and then Weston Egan in game 2. So we'll see if they continue to do that. Throw is underneath, and it's caught by Terrell Warner. Open field tackle for Kalen Horton, who's been returning kicks today. Catch and run of 8 yards for Warner.
One of the things I was looking forward to today is seeing some big, deep balls thrown, but we just haven't seen any. And part of the reason is you have 2 safeties that are 25, 30 yards down the field. That just doesn't allow that. It just gives you something shorter. But I would love to just see how strong his arm is.
Second down and 2. Eli Anderson lunging for the marker, and he gets to it. Picks up 2 yards, and that will move the chains.
You know, that's the thing about coming in offensively. You come in thinking, okay, here's what we're going to do offensively, and then they line up in defense and said, oh, yeah, well, this is the defense we're going to show you, so you have to kind of take what they give you, and that's what I think Coach is looking at here. It's like, oh, I'd love to be able to have that deep threat, but it just didn't give them that today.
Johnson back to throw. Good throw. Hold in by Terrell Warner.
There you go.
Stiff arm and a few extra yards after the catch for the Dodge City Community College transfer.
Yeah, here's what I like on that. It's a great pass, great throw, but, you know, it's just Tarleton State didn't give up. He just kept with it. Nice pass right over the top there. And so no matter what the score, you want to see guys that are willing to compete and do whatever it takes, and that's what you see right there. I'd love to see that.
Warner goes for 27. Timeout is called on the field. With 3:31 left here in the fourth quarter. Well, what do you make of today, Danny?
Well, early on, I think we said it was like, hey, first spring game, this is kind of what it looks like. There's a lot of things to clean up. I think it's that. But there are goodness to it, and you'll just have to really find what those are. One of them, I think, is defensively. They come out and they played a stronger defense. Linebackers, Trevor, we've mentioned Trevor quite a few times today. Good stuff there. Things to work on, secondary. And we thought the secondary could be suspicious coming in. We talked about it, and it is. It's things you got to work on.
2 returning starters for the Aggies on offense from 2019. Dockstader in downs. Only 1 returning starter on defense, Devin Richardson. Some returners are mixed in, but they were guys that did not start. And then you add in a whole host of newcomers, including Jonah Johnson. And the Aggies are trying to work their way through this spring and get ready for the 2021 fall season. Johnson fires. It is caught. And that's in there for a touchdown.
That's a nice play right there. So you run a little V out that just kind of diagonal in, pull everyone in, and then go out. Jonah, there's the arm strength. Remember, I was just saying, oh, I'd love to see his arm strength. Here's a little arm strength right there. Lots of patience, lots of time, lets it develop, and throws the ball downfield. Nice throw, nice catch.
Robert Downs III with the touchdown catch. He had 2 for the Aggies in 2019. Top returning receiver. Ethan Albertson is on for the point after. And it is 43-17. So if you're looking for a positive, Danny.
There's one. We got something.
It's been 10-10 in half 2.
And part of the 2 is it got lots of time to throw. So you got plenty of time in the pocket. It's a longer developing play. He makes the throw. If he waited any longer, that would have been another pick. But good timing, nice throw. Good catch, nice TD.
It was 33-7 at the break, and now it is 43-17, so 10-10 in half 2. After a rocky start here in the first spring game. You're looking for positives. You're looking for things to build on this coming week in practice as you start to get ready for the Trailblazers of Dixie State. 2 Sundays from now, we'll be with you here at the Sun Bowl in El Paso for that one.
You know, it'll be nice to compare and contrast that game, Adam, to this today and see what happens. So, you know, we've talked a lot about, a lot of players you're working, a lot of different things. But next week, or in 2 weeks, I guess we should be able to see the other quarterback, and we can start to compare and contrast what those quarterbacks look like. And then Coach Martin is going to have a decision to make, well, who is it that we're going to go with? Probably something he's not going to make immediately, but at least he'll have a lot of information to then make that decision.
Kickoff will sail through the end zone with 3:28 left here in the fourth quarter. Adam Young, Danny Neve with you from El Paso and the Sun Bowl. Big thanks to our entire Floodstream Productions crew. Busy weekend for them. Basketball Friday and Saturday, football today. I don't know how they did it, but kudos to Joe Pashley and the crew. Director Jason Moon today. Great job by Jason. Producer Graham Taylor. Great job by Graham. And big thanks to our entire productions crew on a busy weekend in these crazy times, Danny.
Yeah, that's a great job. You had a nice call last night. Congratulations on the win. That was good stuff, Adam. Good call. Crew, you did a great job last night. Like to see more wins in basketball that way.
Danny, on Monday we were at Memorial Gym for volleyball at UTEP. The last 2 days we were at Eastwood High School in El Paso for basketball, and today we're at the Sun Bowl in El Paso. I hope things get back to normal soon. Another run for Kelly with 3:20 left. He picks up 12 yards.
Well, Adam, you do a good job. Just to finish that off, is that even in our family, we've always sit around and watch Aggie sport, everything that's out there, and you're calling it most of the time.
Yeah.
And my wife and boys and I are like, how does Adam do that? Because he just transitions from one to the other, and you do such a great job. So you do a great job, Adam.
Well, I appreciate that, partner. Good to be back doing some Aggie football. First game in 449 days, and the first time for us in 460 plus, I believe. Kelly again, he's had the carries in the fourth quarter. I'll tell you what, this Tarleton Texas program, they're in their first year at FCS. They're going to be an independent for right now. They'll be in the WAC starting next year. Look out for the Texans.
They're tough.
They're tough.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with Coach Sukup. We didn't have a chance to get to it too much, but, he told his guys, these guys are a tough team, and I agree. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're going to be good. Well, they are good.
23-2 in their final 2 years at Division II. They were a powerhouse at that level, 11-1 in 2019. And this will be their 24th win in their previous 27 games dating back to 2018. As we hit the 2-minute mark after that 3-yard run for Kelly. The Miners might be a big rival of the Aggies, but thank you so much to UTEP for assisting the Aggies in this, their athletics director, Jim Center, and so many other folks that have allowed the Aggies to play here. This wouldn't happen at a lot of places. If you're a rival, they're probably not going to help you. Well, UTEP gave the Aggies a big assist with this.
Yeah, a big thank you. There's no doubt about it. This is a great facility. It's great to call a game here, and it's great that they've opened up their facilities to New Mexico State.
Kelly is met immediately. Joshua Ferguson and Lazarus Williams. Lazarus Williams was able to punch it free, but the ball carrier was down as we hit the 1-minute mark. Doug Martin has said the entire offseason, he said, no matter the results, what happens in the games, we're doing this for the practice. We need to get guys the game experience, and despite the score today, the game experience was much needed, Danny.
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to start getting these games under your belt because it's been a long time since he's been on the field. So, and it's tough to stay with your strategy, but he's got a strategy, and the strategy is build into the fall. That's where it's going to be made. That's where we're going to make decisions. That's where we're going to do things. And so we'll stay with him on this strategy ride.
We knew there would be rust to knock off as Walrath punts it away. Fair catch is called for by Downs the third at the 25-yard line. Punt of 33 yards for Jake Walrath. So the Texans are at home against Dixie State next Saturday. The Aggies will await Dixie State 2 Sundays from now. Note that was a date change. It was supposed to be March the 6th. It's going to be March the 7th on a Sunday, and anything goes in the spring, so the Aggies are playing their spring games on Sundays to accommodate some stuff here on the campus of UTEP.
Just to keep up with this craziness that we've had, right? It's like, yeah, let's just play the games on Sunday.
Why not, right? It's been that kind of a year. Final 15 seconds. Eli Anderson on the carry for 4. Some of the highlights today for the Aggies, a 94-yard kick return touchdown by Juwan Price. 27-yard touchdown catch for Robert Downs III.
Yeah, I really think there's some positives to be made here, and I think right at the end we see some offense explosion, a lot of things going on. Defensively, I kind of like where we're building to. We're going to make some adjustments in the secondary, and that's going to cut down on some of those TDs. But a lot of things to work on, and they got a couple big weeks, and it's going to be nice to compare and contrast coming into Dixie State in 2 weeks.
43-17, the final score. The new Senda Credit Union postgame show comes up next.